gentlemen, the winner of this contest.
It is a fast-acting viral strain that infects the host immediately, and upon getting sick, the infected will become racked with coughs, sweat profusely, and start to get the shivers and chills.
There he is, the legend. The man, the myth, the legend.
Yeah. You can't literally run a promotion just for the AEW, what do they call them, sickos?
Thank you very much, TikTok and AEW. See you tonight.
Tony Khan started telling people there's no such thing as long-term booking anymore. It's week to week.
The best guys, Tony Khan.
We just secured the bag.
It's not like I tried to be a character. It was just sort of happened naturally. But it was never something I intended. It was just something that happened because the wrestlers asked me to do things in matches, and I do them.
If you run a promotion just for the sickos, you're going to do 400,000 viewers eventually.
Effing melts. You know that SmackDown actually went over and everything?
Yeah.
You know,
What's the point?
the point of SmackDown.
What are you getting at here?
That the DVRs didn't pick it up.
Did they not pick it up?
Mine didn't.
Let's get into everybody's favorite moment, and it is called Dave Meltzer's Dumb Moment of the Week.
What would you like to listen to in your ears?
I'd like to hear the flute.
Well, if you'd like to flaunt your flute, then we can find you a flautist.
We have just secured the bag.
It doesn't help me.
Okay, so complain, but
I will complain.
Let me have my misery.
And when I heard that, I was like, what?
Thank you, fuck you, bye. Boom.
You gotta run a promotion for everybody. The sickos can be the ones that buy tickets first and spend the most money on the merchandise.
Because we have just secured the bag.
But like, you gotta promote for everybody. Then you'll have a lot of viewers.
I think we proved a lot of so-called experts. We made them look like idiots. We're not going anywhere. Tony Khan's not going anywhere.
You'll also be there on TNT. You'll be in 2 places at once. It'll be a lot like my favorite movie. Time Con. So great, Pittsburgh.
It's not like I tried to be a character. It sort of happened naturally.
the best guys, Tony Khan.
To keep themselves safe.
Yeah, it's B3CCA. It's Becca, bitch. B3CCA is the champion of AFA. B3CCA is the champion of AFA. Beating all these bitches and your dad is calling me his bae. B3CCA is the champion of AFA. B3CCA is the champion of AFA. B3CCA is the champion of AFA. Beating all these bitches and your dad is calling me his bae. B3CCA is the champion of AFA. She just likes to dance. I don't think that she can fight me. Get my heart rate up. I do that with your mom nightly. Sorry that I'm winning. I can beat your ass politely. Landing in LA and all the people say B3CCA is the champion of AFA. B3CCA is the champion of AFA. Beating all these bitches and your dad is calling me his bae. B3CCA is the champion of AFA. You don't know what I got. You don't know how to be this hot. B3CCA is the champion of AFA. B3CCA is the champion of AFA. Beating all these bitches and your dad is calling me his bae. B3CCA is the champion of AFA. You don't know what I got. You don't know how to be this hot. She just likes to dance. I don't think that she can fight me. Get my heart rate up, I do that with your mom nightly. Sorry that I'm winning, I can keep your ass politely. Landed in LA, and all the people B3CCA is the champion of AFA.
All right, go back. Keep talking. You got it.
Tell me how uncomfortable wrestling boots are, truly.
Well, mine are tailor-made for my foot.
Yeah, but you wore shitty boots over the years for sure.
Yeah, when I started, I borrowed someone's boots that were a size too small, and that kind of sucked. And wrestling boots are $400. Again, I was making $20.
Are they really $400?
I think they're up more now.
How often do you have to change them?
So I'm a weirdo, though, because I've kept the same design for my boots for my entire career.
You've never changed your design?
Yeah, I don't know why.
Is it laziness or is it content with it?
It's like this weird thing where I had them for like probably 12 years. I've had maybe 3 sets of boots. Each set lasts me about 4 or 5 years. And then at a certain point, I was like, wow, I've been wearing these boots for 10 or 12 years. I'm like, I think I'll just wear them my entire career.
That was, you made the decision.
But like, I also wore like tights my whole career. And then maybe 3 years ago, I started wearing like pants, not just the, spandex tights. So that changed. And I thought, well, if I'm changing my look, I should change everything. But the boots stayed.
And yet the boots remained.
Yeah. So I don't know what that is. I don't know what sickness in my head is just like the boots. No, like that's the constant.
Boring. Well, so how many high school boys does it take to change a light bulb?
Want to light up your life? Yeah! Have those Slim Jim! Turn to the spice! Baby, do the taste! Need a little excitement? Step into a Slim Jim!
Are you afraid of flying? You know how I know this, right?
What, that flight?
Yeah, you
that flight
threw a giant drink all over me.
I did not. Okay.
I had limes.
You love telling the story as if I threw a drink behind me and threw limes. As long as I'm distracted and, if you take it easy, I'm good.
The old libations. Yeah,
that'll get...
Dogs gotta hunt.
Oh. And there's a little brag. I didn't make a scene out of it like Drew McIntyre or anybody.
Yeah, but
I didn't get a sword.
We love Drew, but he's linking it online. Yeah. Come on the show, Drew.
Jimmy Uso.
Big Jim.
Big Jim.
No bump Jim. Doesn't like to take a bump.
I mean, nobody really likes to.
Cheers to that. No bump Jim. God bless him.
Love that guy.
Good dude.
Okay, Mike.
We good.
Ooh, what's happening, guys? Welcome to another eclectic edition of PWT Live Show, Sicko Saturday Night. Yeah. I am your host, the infallible Philly Phil Marks over here. Yeah. And we have an exciting show today on this Saturday. And as you guys can see on the screen, we'll be talking a lot about Hulk Hogan. And, obviously the bookmarks are likely riddled with a lot of Hulk Hogan stuff, and that's going to go down. The reason we're all here gathered today for church, right? Saturday night church, PWT, is because of the Hulkster, whether you loved him or hated him. Again, I'm not gonna just to kick this show off. You can see in the title, Chelsea Green had to leave socials. We have Sicko segment. Don't worry. I'm sure you guys anticipated it. We have some Meltzer. We have AEW news, right? It's a regular show, but there will be a lot of like Hulkster interwoven. And I know people have grieved and all of that thus far. I'm not going to go on some epic rant. You guys listen to this show. You guys know I've caught heat for being a Hulkster, go under any of my videos where his name's in the title and go read the comments, So you guys know, the personal shit aside, I mean, I was a big Chris Benoit fan too. I won't lie about that, right? Like outside of the ring, hey, I can't control what happens there. I'm just talking about what my fandom is. So, Hulk, truly one of the greatest. It's still pretty surreal. I think it kind of sunk in today. And you guys know, if you listen to the show, my favorite match of all time, I think, in all of pro wrestling is Rock versus Hulkster, WrestleMania 18. So all the plugs and promos and goofy jokes and all of that aside, rest in peace, Hulkster. And the pro wrestling business, we wouldn't even be here talking about shit if it wasn't for Hulk, period. You know, some people might refute that, and that's fine. You know, that can be their opinion, but I just think we can look at metrics, right? We can look at trends and the way pro wrestling was headed until Hulkamania started running wild, brothers, right? So yeah, SmackDown was beautiful. They did the 10 bell salute. They gave a great tribute. The crowd was chanting for him. And yeah, that's all it needed to be. It didn't need to be you know, it wasn't like an Eddie. He's an old timer in the business, you know, to a lot of people. It's like crazy he even made it this long in life, you know, and every day's a goddamn blessing. You know, Flair's still out there. So it is sad, and it came out of nowhere. He wasn't like active on the roster the way like Eddie Guerrero was, or like a Chris Benoit, where it just stops everything dead in its tracks, right? And I think they did it tastefully, and I'm not going to go like, again, everyone's had a spiel. There's nothing I can add to what everyone else has already said. Okay. And everyone's already made an AI picture of, right? It's the little kid with the Hulk doll and Hulk's walking off in the sunset. We felt that so many times, right? Especially in wrestling. So another one goes the greatest, right? It's him or Stone Cold or John Cena, right? That you could argue. I think we all agree on that. No, I put a poll in the chat. What is Hulk Hogan's greatest match of all time? Is it The Rock versus Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 18? Is it Andre versus Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 3? Is it Warrior versus Hulk Hogan at, what was that, 6? And then, or was it Kevin Nash versus Hollywood Hogan, finger poke of doom? You guys vote in the poll. Round of applause for the Hulkster, brother. God damn, this one hits hard. This one hits really, really hard. And it's hard. It's hard to even look at the graphic. I know. Again, guys, like, I mean, I'm a 90s kid. His run for me was mostly my memories. He was a heel, and then he came back to WWE, Ruthless Aggression era. But as you guys know, if you listen to the show, I'm fortunate enough to where my grandfather taped everything, especially wrestling. And so I got to watch a lot of the stuff that came before my time, like most of the key stuff. And yeah, so I was very blessed, and Hulk was like my first favorite wrestler. You know, it was Hulk Hogan. So there you have it, if that explains anything. And I love Triple H as well. He was probably my second like main favorite. I liked him above Steve Austin and The Rock. You know, you look back and you're like, oh shit, Austin's the good. And don't get me wrong, there's moments where Austin would come out and it's just like to save the day, and you know, your head would explode. But I was always like a Triple H guy and a DX guy, you know. I was an NWO guy on the WCW side. So, yeah, shout out to Hulkster, man. R.I.P. And, yeah, guys, so this will also be a bit of a mess of a show because at some point, why is Chris Benoit trending? He's trending right now. I don't know if that's a good thing. Why is he being drummed up? I don't know. So on X, bookmarking stuff into specific folders was not working for like a day. It was on and off to where you couldn't really use the feature. So I don't know what was going on with all of that. So some stuff, there might be like a speed round of stuff that I wanted to bring to the show after, where I just kind of doom scroll through the through the all bookmark section. Okay. So we're speaking of Hulkster. We might as well kick things off with WWE news ultimately, and the reactions to Hulkster being passing away and just being praised by, you know, tons of people in the wrestling world. Yeah, so round of applause. I don't know if we gave one, but a round of applause. So, guys, as people file in, youtube.com/@ProWrestleClips. I appreciate you guys. Consider hitting like one up for the Hulkster. You can hit dislike too. You can tell me fuck myself or let me know if I'm doing a good job. This is still going to be a fun show. I'm going to try and make it as fun as possible. We are going to read and watch some stuff that might be like, oh shit, you know, but yeah, we'll try and have fun with it. Let me check in with chat, and then we're going to just get right into WWE news, because I think that's the most important stuff to get to tonight. So George Capture for 5 says Hulk on Sports Illustrated and Hulk and Rocky 3 changed it all. Yeah, so was Hulk the first wrestler on an SI cover? Is that a thing? Remember when that mattered? Was Hulk Hogan the first wrestler? I mean, chat can probably just tell me the answer to that. So yeah, dude, and Rocky 3. I mean, come on, I love the Rocky films. I just rewatched them all, including the Creeds, like last year, I want to say. Plenty and Pixel Art's been a member for 11 months. Hated the man, but respect what he did for the business. R.I.P. Hogan. Yeah, I mean, all that shit aside, too, I didn't feel the need to preface any of this by being like, oh, and, you know, I detest racism. It's like, obviously, man, like, none of us fucking, you know, shit isn't cool. But, like, everybody just pretending they're, like, these perfect beings who've never, like, made a fucking mistake. And I don't fucking know, dude. It's just... whatever. I'm not even gonna get into all that. Stupid. And I can't add anything to, like, my fandom goes so deep. There's people who are way bigger who, like, lived in the Hulkamania run, you know. I'm fortunate I got to see John Cena's and Roman Reigns's, and I love what Hulk did for the business and everything. He's my first favorite wrestler. I said it, you know. I'm such a mark for the dude. It was hard for me to get over it. And but yeah, just like seeing, I don't know, it was kind of nice. It was just like reading all the reactions and stuff was like fucked up, a lot of them. And then, but just from the wrestlers, notice how the wrestlers react, okay? And what they were saying was just sort of made it feel like sort of at ease and peace. And you see like Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and he's smiling, and you think about him and you're like, bro, how many people has he seen come and go? You know? And you see him smiling and what he has to say, and you're just like, okay, dude, like, it's tough, but we'll get through this one, you know? And yeah, it's just, I'm a wrestling fan, so I'm not talking about all this other shit. George Capture gifted 5 Pro Wrestle Clips memberships. Don DeMarco. So yeah, guys, you can become a member for 99 cents. You get access to my bonus show or whatever on Mondays, and other stuff like that. I have a Patreon and stuff. I don't really feel a good plug-in today, I'm perfectly honest, but yeah, support me. You can hit like or whatever, right? Appreciate you guys for tuning in tonight. So what is on? Is there a Collision on? Let's throw that. Was it on Thursday? I don't know. I'm hardly paying attention on that side of things. We're going to talk about Tony Khan a bit. You know, he caught heat for like not saying anything and stuff, so we're going to get into all that. But yeah, let's get into let's acknowledge here. I'll give an acknowledge.
Acknowledge me.
I will miss Hogan, still my favorite of all time. So not that same hate for Austin. IG bad words are worse than okay. No, I get it. Yeah, it's like we could, you know. Plenty and Pixel Art for 5. Much love, Phil. Apologies for how I stated that time and place. No, why are you apologizing? Don't ever apologize, dude. What the fuck? Right? No, don't apologize, bro. You're just saying what you want to say, man. It's what we're all should be free to do, right? 626 for 5 says, you're welcome, Cleveland. Thank you for the Logan chance. Got me. Bro, Logan Paul. Then when he came out, and that was the thing, too, is like Hulkwood is the ultimate, like, well, let the show go on, brother, for sure. And he just wanted there to be a good show. And Yeah, man, when Logan was like, "Oh, thank you, dude. I thought a minute ago you was all chanting, thank you, Logan." Oh, and the heat he got, boo. Fuck, that was just immediately. You're like, this guy's so good. Jelly Roll, too, was fire on the mic. What's going on? Like, he has so much conviction in the shit he's saying. And, like, I don't know, man. I was fucking with it, man. I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed SmackDown. By the time it ended, I was like, oh, no, that's it. I didn't think they'd end on the tag team division brawling. And then they announced essentially like TLC 2 with the addition, I think, of another team, right? If I'm not mistaken. But yeah, what a SmackDown, too. And then the tribute was awesome. Hulk Hogan legacy will never die, brother. For 2. Thank you so much. Rabid Wolverine's LC Killer. F1 WGP7 has been a member for 10 months. So let me acknowledge everyone.
Acknowledge me.
And you guys get access to Monday shows. We typically watch Raw. I wonder if on Raw they'll also do some sort of tribute. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? And vote in the poll. I'm curious. Like, to me, Hulk versus Rock 18, not just because it was in Toronto, but that was the greatest match of all time. I've always thought that ever since I was a young boy. So I don't know. For some people, it's Andre, though, when he slammed Andre. And even though it's like a work, oh, he didn't actually slam him the first time. Who gives a shit? Yeah, guess what? The Wyatt Six aren't really spooky demon guys either, right? It's about the show. It's all part of the show, baby. Right? Brady Mac for 5 says 33 million people watched Hogan Andre rematch in 88. Think about that. Think about that. People gathered around like, holy shit, it was a spectacle. Wrap your head around that for a sec. Yeah, it's hard to. It's hard to. It's like more people than are in Canada. That's like 3 countries worth of people, you know? It's fucking amazing. Thank you. And yes, I acknowledge
me
for your support. Hogan Slaughter was up there. Yeah, I had to put one funny one, so I put the finger poke at Doom. I know. I wanted to put Sheik on there. I wanted to put Slaughter on there. Trust me. I wanted to put Sting from Starrcade. Oh, come on, Eric. He wasn't tanned. You mean to tell me because he wasn't fucking tanned that you didn't book the goddamn match correctly? I'm just a mortgage guy. My favorite Hulk lie story is I worked 400 days in 1 year because flying to Japan, brother. Oh, man. I never got why people took his story seriously in the later years. Because, like, we got into this fucking weird fact check culture and shit where everybody has access to the internet, so everybody's like know-it-alls, even though he came from a day and age where like Steven Seagal lied about all his shit too, made a bunch of blockbuster movies. Like, this is what people did. There was no fucking internet. You just told lies and work stories and shit. That's what all these people did, bro, back then. So I mean, getting mad. I always find his stories funny. I caught heat for saying that like a year ago when he was on Joe Rogan. I covered it on the show. And I was like, look, man, his stories are funny. Like, they're just these old, I was in Pride in 1974, brother. Like, it's just such obscene bullshit. Yes, it's fucked. He lied about a dying kid in London or whatever. Okay. Like, all right. Would I ever do that? No, that's fucked up. You know what I mean? There's Dr. Phil episodes about people who do shit like that. Okay. But he was a carny fucking wrestler who that's what they all did. Like, they all just told fake fucking stories. I don't know, man. To me, I never get triggered by that shit. I just think it's funny when wrestlers tell these obviously, like, they all do it. Even the riots and shit and some of these stories, they get over exaggerated over time as well. Not saying that there's documented, like there were we know that. We know wrestlers had, there people try and take their lives and stuff like that in matches back in the day. But some of the stories, you think all of them are 100% correct? No, probably a good chunk of them are exaggerated because of people who experience them and just over time. And Hulk tells so much lies, he just keeps lying. But all of his lies, like, okay, is there a lie that hurts anybody in particular other than his fucking, like, it's just for him to get himself over as like a wrestler and a superstar. I was supposed to be in that movie, dude. Doesn't like really hurt anyone. Now, if there was a real family affected by the little boy in London that he fake died, okay, I apologize because I'm unaware of that. I don't know like the ins and outs of that story, right? Because there's so many Hulk tales, right? But it's more like Hulk, the real, like Terry Bollea, that guy. I think people hated that guy, and there's a lot of people who love that guy too. But there's people who take Hulk out of the picture and go, no, he fucking buried my spot, or he used racial epithets or racial slurs and shit and stuff like that. And yeah, I mean, I can't defend him. I don't know the fucking guy. I'm not on tape with my wiener out saying shit like that. You know what I mean? So I whatever. I'm just talking about what I know. The wrestling, to me, his stories, his lies are all those wrestlers back in those days told crazy stories and lies. Some more than others. We respect Bret Hart for calling people on their shit. But if you think about it, like Jim Cornette pointed out, Bret Hart exposed the business too, like more than, right? Like Jim Cornette said it. What is Bret going to do? Call the newspapers and say, fucking they screwed me out of my fake title? And that's what he did. Bret was shooting on everyone, but he was fucking exposing the biz super hard and to do that. Okay. And someone like Hulk is just one of these dudes. Again, just talking about Hulkster, like the wrestling side. He's just one of those dudes that's like, kayfabe's forever, brother. He goes on Joe Rogan, who's a legit Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt, and starts telling him like about fake work shoot holds. Now, if I twist the wrist like this, Rogan, brother, like, come on, dude. Who are you fooling? You're talking to a fucking guy who speaks to world-class fighters all the time and shit, so it's just funny. To me, that shit's funny. It's like Steven Seagal when he goes to Russia and he starts doing like his weird dance with the Russian lady or whatever, right? He's just living his gimmick. And there's something about that. Like, we don't live in times of like Frank Dukeses anymore, or these like Count Dantes and these fake fucking, bullshito martial artists and these like carny, over the top carny wrestlers. Like that's a dead breed. And so there's something about it that's endearing and funny. Again, just the wrestling side. I know people are going to conflate what I'm saying and go, oh, how dare you protect I get it, guys. 626 for 5. We're going to get into news. Sorry, we had to give Hulk his due, right? I got spanked for calling a 900 number to find out if Hulk won at WrestleMania 3, and it was worth it, dude. You got spanked. I don't agree, like, by your parents for calling the number. That's so funny. I don't agree with him out of the ring, but he's goated in. Yeah, exactly. I'm a mark for, like, Ichiban Hulk Hogan, too, because it was, like, the thing that I didn't get to see, really. Like that was the side of Hogan you didn't see. Wasn't in your face, really, like the other stuff was as much. So I'm like a big mark for that. Kevin Pierpont for 2 says Devon, Booker T, and Stevie Ray loved Hulk. Okay. What do they all have in common? Chat. What do they? No. And that's fine. Hey, man, that's fine. I'm not going to tell anybody how to feel or not to feel, about a person. That's up to them to decide how they feel about people. I'm just talking about how I felt about them in the ring. And yeah. So let's get into WWE news. I think that's the way to do this. Let's hit some breaking news. So yeah, Hulk Hogan had a massive cardiac arrest. He was rushed to a local hospital. And then we have wrestlers, sending their condolences. Here's Titus O'Neil, who remembers Hulk Hogan. He went on some program, and we'll have a few of these here.
Well, Doctor, my relationship with Hulk Hogan, the character.
Remember when they wore like the pirate gear together at that one WrestleMania? They were dressed like pirates, brother. Yo ho, me mateys, brothers. Yo ho, me brothers. Oh my God, that's so funny.
Has always been professional. And, for years, as a kid, much like many others around the globe, I was a Hulk Hogan fan. As I got older, obviously so finding out Terry Bollea, the man, there were some differences of opinions and some differences in moral fibers between us too, but it never stopped me from really idolizing what he set the table for me and many other WWE superstars to do, which is to perform on the grandest stage of them all. And I had the opportunity of a lifetime professionally to host WrestleMania with him here in our hometown of Tampa. And it was an amazing experience that I'll never forget. And,
that's the best picture right there.
Out of respect for the family and the fans, many of them that are grieving today, it's not about my personal relationship with him. It's really more so about my professional.
Racist comments he had made. He was reinstated a few years later. As a person of color, how did that
oh my God, I hate when the news does this shit.
Impact you, and what did you think of all that?
To me, it wasn't necessarily about how I felt. It was really more so about what was the actual remorse for the comment. Oh, it's well documented. It was a statement put out by me and many other superstars as well in regards to our feelings on it. As a person of color that has what I feel like has contributed to the sports and entertainment business within WWE in a positive manner. For me, it is always going to be about people and giving people the opportunity to be the best versions of themselves. We'll apologize and it will fall on deaf ears regardless. And then some people will apologize and it will be the welcoming system back to them kind of getting back into good graces with folks for them to be remembered for who they are.
I'll say this, side note, I want to see Titus back on commentary. You guys remember when he came and did commentary like not that long ago? I want to say a year, maybe more, maybe less than that. It's all blurred together at this point. But when he was on commentary, he was getting turned up, man, and that was such a fun time. And I don't know, I like his vibe. I've always been a Titus fan, dude. I was a big primetime player, making $1 million moves. Got this $1 million. I fucking love that crew. So here we go. Untold story of Hulk Hogan from Sergeant Slaughter. A presentation of, so what is this? Pro Wrestling Nation 24/7. Oh, I'm like, how long is this hashtag? Presentation of Remembering Hulk Hogan, hosted by David LaGreca. So let's hear what Slaughter, he tells a story. Shout out Busted Open, Sirius, Pro Wrestling Nation, LaGreca, Slaughter, everyone.
I got a call from Vince McMahon, and he said, Sergeant, I got an idea. I see your contract with Hasbro is almost up. He said, I got an idea. WrestleMania 7, I want you and Hulk Hogan to sell it out for me at the LA Coliseum. And I said, sounds good to me. How are you going to make Hulk Hogan the villain? And he said, Hulk. What do you mean, Hulk? I said, yeah, I thought you were going to make Sergeant Slaughter, G.I. Joe, the real American hero. Is only you can do it, Vince. And he goes, no, I got another idea. I want you to come back to the WWF and be pissed off. One day before this all happened, I'm on an airplane, and there next to me is Hulk Hogan. And he looks over to me. We never really talked much, And he said, I told Vince I wanted you back. He wanted WrestleMania 7 to be either the tugboat, the earthquake, or that Ultimate Warrior again. And I said, I'm not wrestling any of them.
That doesn't work for me, brothers. Oh, shit.
Quarterback, and I'll do it. So that's kind of how it all happened. Hulk asked for Vince to bring me in as the villain. So gotta thank him. I always called Terry my golden goose, because every time we wrestled, I made more money. I gotta.
Yeah, good thing it wasn't Tugboat. That's all I'm saying. So WWE is saddened to learn WWE Hall of Famer Hulk Hogan has passed away. One of pop culture's most recognizable figures, Hogan helped WWE achieve global recognition in the 80s. WWE extends its condolences to Hogan's family, friends, and fans. And yeah, Ric Flair, he broke down on TMZ. He tweeted out, I'm absolutely shocked to hear about the passing of my close friend, Hulk Hogan. Hulk has been by my side since we started in the wrestling business. An incredible athlete, talent, friend, and father. Our friendship has meant the world to me. It's weird because every word is in caps. like it starts with a caps. He was always there for me, even when I didn't ask for him to be. He was one of the first to visit me when I was in the hospital with a 2% chance of living, and he prayed by my bedside. Hulk also lent me money when Reed was sick. Hulkster, no one will ever compare to you. Rest in peace, my friend. And it was really them. Like it was really like Hulkster in WWF and then Flair in WCW. Like, who's the best in the world? And yeah. It is it's quite sad, man. So here we go. We have some more reactions. So The Miz, he said, when I was a kid, I ate my vitamins and said my prayers. And by the way, Miz killed it on SmackDown. You know, he's in Cleveland. He sets up his line, I'm The Miz and the whole crowd goes, awesome. And then he goes back. And then he fucking goes out there and slaps Jacob in the face. And Fatu goes out there, gets beat relatively quick, but that was his job. And he fucking made Jacob look good doing it. And he was real intense and everything. Fuck yeah, man. I love The Miz. But he's like, I ate my vitamins, said my prayers because Hulk Hogan told me to. He was someone I looked up to, a larger-than-life presence I copied constantly growing up, the voice, the flexing, the charisma. He made you want to be bold, loud, confident. He made you believe you could be something. Years later, I had just come off the real world, trying to find my footing in WWE. I was backstage nervous, not trying to step on toes, hoping to earn respect. And then Hulk Hogan called me over. I couldn't believe it. It was like, oh my God, I'm about to talk to Hulk Hogan. He goes, tell me about that reality show you were on, Jack. And I was like, it's Mike, actually. Well, let me tell you something, brother. We talked for 30 minutes about the real world, what it was like, what the experience meant. And I walked away thinking, did that really just happen? A year later, Hogan Knows Best premiered, and I couldn't help but wonder if that conversation had anything to do with it. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't, but I'll never forget that moment. Every time I saw him after that, he was kind. He'd compliment me, tell me how great of a job I was doing, and coming from him, that meant everything. My thoughts are with his family, his friends, and everyone who loved him. Rest in peace, Hulk Hogan. Thank you for the time, the words, and the impact. Brother, you were larger than life and somehow even bigger in person. Yeah, and like Maurice has a story about Hulkster too. So I think we have a video. Ric Flair like broke down talking about Hulkster. So the president, Donald Trump, WWE Hall of Famer, says we lost a great friend today, the Hulkster. Hulk Hogan was great, was MAGA all the way, strong, tough, smart, but with the biggest heart. He gave an absolute electric speech at the Republican National Convention. It was about me. That was one of the highlights of the entire week. He entertained fans from all over the world, and the cultural impact he had was massive. To his wife, Sky, and family, we give our warmest, best wishes and love. Hulk Hogan will be greatly missed. Now, his wife, Sky, right? We'll get into that in a bit because people are like throwing conspiracy theories around about her already and shit. And I don't mean to laugh, but it's just like, fuck the internet, bro. We're doomed. So Jimmy Hart has paid tribute to his best friend Hulk Hogan. What can you? No, should I do the Jimmy Hart? What can you say when losing a best friend? First, to Hulk's family, I love you. I'm here for you all. Hulkster, you always kept me close to you through everything. It was an honor. We traveled the world back and forth. Wherever we went, Hulkamania was alive, brother. The fans always came out, and we loved every minute of it. You made more people smile than I'll ever be able to count. Those are the memories I'll forever cherish. Thank you for a 4-decade ride. I will keep the megaphone going. Red and yellow will live on. Legends never die, baby. I love you, Terry. Hulkamania forever. And yeah, he was breaking down hard on stage there on SmackDown. And Joe Carney posted that the WWF became the WWE on May 6, 2002. This was the last glimpse before the transition to WWE. And if you look, it's the WWF logo, and on the title, it has the WWF logo. Right? So, and then the next time we saw it, we were officially in the WWE era. He was the last WWF champion and the first WWE champion. That's only 0.5% of the history he helped create. So that's like a cool little fucking stat that not many people think about. We think about his WrestleMania, his 12 world title wins, 6 in WWE, 6 in WCW, all the WrestleManias and shit, but you don't think about this little factoid here, which is really cool that happened. Who put him over again? Wasn't it Triple H? Am I right about that? So Vince McMahon tweeted for like the first time in forever. And he says, the world lost a treasure today, pal. Hulk Hogan was the greatest WWE superstar of all time, someone who was loved and admired around the world. He was a trailblazer, the first performer who transitioned from being a wrestling star into a global phenomenon. His grit, something like a phenomenon. His grit and unbridled thirst for success were unparalleled and made him the consummate performer. He gave everything he had to the audience, whom he appreciated, respected, and loved. He leaves us with one of his favorite expressions. Train, take your vitamins, dude, and say your prayers, brothers. Today we pray for him. Yeah, it's crazy to hear from Vince, too. So people pulled up to his beach restaurant, and this dude was playing the bagpipes. Now, here's the thing. Wasn't he like a big Irish? Like, wasn't the original Hulk Hogan thing is like he's an Irishman or something as well? So you got to think, like, there's people alive. This guy's bagpiping it up for him, which is cool to see as well, you know? I don't know. I'm not a big bagpipe guy myself, but hey, it's good to see them out there playing those. Am I right about that, Chet? It's like I'm Irish, brother, or Scottish, brother. What was he? Then people interpret him as never knew the Irish had inherited some from the Scots. Bagpipes are Scottish. Okay, so there you go. I just don't even know what I'm talking about. But is that why he's playing them? Like, wasn't that a thing? That's why his name is Hogan. Yeah. Okay. Whatever. Either way. It's not what my stupidity is not what matters here. Okay, chat. So who tweeted this? Devon said, we all are guilty in one way, shape, or form of saying something or doing something that wouldn't be considered appropriate. I'm not condoning in any way what happened or what was said at his lowest point because, listen, I'm African-American. I get it, okay? If anybody gets it, it's us as African-American people. And then he goes on to say, but at the same time, you can't deny what this man has done for the wrestling business. If it wasn't for Hulk Hogan, there would be no WWE, there'd be no AEW, there'd be no TNA, there'd be no Dave Meltzer. There would be none of this. We wouldn't even be having this platform right now. We're able to still be relevant in the business because of that man. The business is hot right now. So for people to say what they say about the comments he made, I get it. I understand why you're hurt by it. I was hurt by it too. But like the Bible says, forgive, because if you don't forgive your brother, I will not forgive you. And that's exactly what the Bible says. Fucking dropping bars is Devon Dudley. Here's Ric Flair on TMZ.
Or they don't ever know. People always wanted to paint us as enemies, but we were actually very, very close friends. And we kept it up with each other on a regular basis. So I just talked to Jimmy Hart yesterday, and he was fine. To have this happen is just horrible.
How did you get the news? I'm so sorry, Rick. I am so sorry.
Oh, I've gotten it from everybody, man. Won't stop. We had magic. I mean, it wasn't like me and Steamboat, but we had. Or they don't ever know.
Oh, why'd they cut that off? I wanted to hear him compare it. Because, like, yeah, that's the one big fumble, I think, on Vince's part, is he just never did Hogan Flair properly, you know? Think about a guy like Flair still kicking it, man. Maurice recalls a Hulk Hogan story from 2006. So she says, still trying to process the loss of someone who made a big impact on my very first day in WWE. Hulk Hogan was the first person who ever took me under his wing. It was 2006. I had just been eliminated from the Diva Search that night, and I was feeling crushed. I walked into the TV hotel after Raw in Cleveland, heels on, dragging 2 giant suitcases up the stairs because there was no elevator, and suddenly I felt a hand on my left. It was Hulk, grabbing one of my bags, helping me the rest of the way. He looked at me and said, "You look like you could sit down and have a cheeseburger and fries." We sat down in the hotel lobby restaurant and talked wrestling for over an hour. He shared stories, gave me incredible advice, and in that moment reminded me why I was there. That night changed everything for me. Over the years, we shared a great friendship. He always loved talking about our show, the kids, Mike, and family. I'm forever grateful for that night, that conversation, and for knowing him. Rest in peace, Hulkster, brother. Thank you for everything. Yeah, so the Mizanin, is that how you say it? Mizanin? The Mizanin family, very very tight with Hulkster, dude. So Brooke Hogan is at peace following her father's death. She wrote a statement. She hadn't spoken to him since, I guess, like 2023, and she just told him to rest and like be cool and like stop going so hard, you know. So Madison Square Garden put up this tribute to Hulkster, which is insane. But think about like the original Garden. You know, who drew the most money there? Is it Hulk, or is someone going to be like, actually, Bruno Sammartino? I don't know, but yeah, that's just amazing. Teddy Long recalls his final message to Hulk Hogan 20 minutes before his death. Tell him I love him. Damn. Steve Austin had this to say. So, you know, it's Stone Cold, Hulk Hogan, and John Cena. Those are the 3 biggest draws ever in wrestling, right? They have to be. Like, as far as merchandise sales and all the works, right? Like, it has to be those 3. Like the complete everything, megastar, all that stuff. They have to be the top 3. So Steve Austin had this to say. Hulk Hogan was born to be a professional wrestler, larger than life, charisma for days. He was in a stratosphere all on his own. His contributions are immense, kid. His influence will be forever. What? Hulkamania lives on. What? My condolences to his family and loved ones. Yeah, dude, legends never die, man. So Mark Henry said, Hogan's place on Mount Rushmore, I think, is concrete. I've never heard somebody say, oh, yeah, my Mount Rushmore, and Hogan wasn't on it. I feel like some of the people out there have this bias, or they want to delve into the negativity of Hogan's life. He means personal life. Not going to do it, guys. It's a celebration of his life and what he gave to the sport. Hogan gave probably the most important thing that any wrestler can give to our sport and to our business. He made it better. He made the whole world know about the sport that particularly didn't even watch wrestling. That's the mark of somebody that I feel like is a great beacon and a great stalwart for our industry. Hell yeah. It's the world's strongest man right there. And that's a shoot, brother. Here's Michael Cole on SportsCenter talking about the legacy of Hulk Hogan. Let's take a listen.
Almost half a century. What did Hulk Hogan mean to the world of sports entertainment at large?
Well, Elle, you and I were talking before we came on the air. This has been a rough week for those of us who came of age in the 80s. Malcolm Jamal Warner, of course, Ozzy Osbourne, and today, Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan and Vince McMahon created sports entertainment. There's a reason that Netflix and Peacock and USA Network are bringing our shows on a weekly basis because of what they created back in the 1980s, taking this small regional promotion and turning it into this global juggernaut. There are millions and millions.
And millions.
Star.
I always loved how Hulkster hit the ropes. I always thought he hit them like way cooler than anyone, you know, with force and shit.
The 24-inch pythons.
They even put like his motion in the games because it's like different. You know, the way he'd hit him was different.
The great shape, preaching to the.
I always love that too. When I love the finish to the Sheik match. Like, he's in the clutch, he stands up out of it, because, like, in context at the time, it's like, I always say this on the show, one of the scariest movies of all time in history is Alien, and I get that people would be like, oh, come on now, Phil, that's not very fair. I get, like, millennials and shit would be like, oh, Alien's not even that scary. But no, at the time when that came out, it fucking blew people's minds. They didn't see shit like that. The Exorcist, yeah, you can watch it now because every movie's like crazy CGI, gore-tastic. They can put whatever in any of these movies now. But back then, it's like the reason that's one of the scariest movies of all time is because, like, without that fucking movie, there's not all these other movies, that it set the bar. So I feel like a bar setter is the Iron Sheik, like, kicking out right after the 3, like, all that, dude. It's just, I've always loved that.
Python.
The little details, man, the subtle things. That's what's great about pro wrestling.
The great shape. Preaching to the children to say their prayers and take their vitamins. He was larger than life. He was Terry Bollea turned up to number 10. And in the 1980s, he was probably the most famous person on the planet. Anywhere you went, you would hear the name Hulk Hogan. He hosted Saturday Night Live. He, of course, main evented WrestleManias, as you mentioned before, Grammy Awards. He was part of television shows and feature films. Hulk Hogan created the entire rock and wrestling era in WWE and really put sports entertainment on the map.
He did, and I'm I told you this too. I'm remembering having the plush toy of Hulk Hogan with the hair and the bandana. And you mentioned larger than life. I think one of the most iconic Hulk Hogan moments was at WrestleMania 3. He body slams Andre the Giant. Can you talk about that moment in sports history?
Well, El, there were really two moments between Hulk and Andre the Giant. This is a rivalry that really may have been the greatest in professional wrestling history. Of course, WrestleMania 3, the Pontiac.
Yeah, a lot of people from that time will argue that too. Like, dude, you guys, I've heard people make the argument, like, y'all got to understand the impact that Andre Hulk had. Like, that has to be one of the greatest rivalries, because without it, we don't get to where we are. And how crazy it was to see Andre, like, rip his shirt. You ripped my chain, brother. When you rip my gold chain crucifix off my neck, Jack. I had a hard time taking my vitamins the next day, dude. So people will argue that. A lot of us are like, oh, Rock Austin and stuff like that. But it's like, we don't even get there without Hogan Andre.
Silver.
Everything was bigger. Like, the houses were fucking gigantic. And again, we're in another era like that now. But now we're at a point in time where, WWE is bigger than all of the stars, pretty much. Right? WWE is like a brand, and you trust that, like, people are paying this premium to see, like, WWE do a WWE event. There's like the outliers. Roman, you might be able to argue like maybe he's starting to cross over, but I don't think so. I think if you yelled WWE in a mall, or you yelled Roman Reigns in a mall and said, hey, how many of you know what this is? How many of you know what this is? Most people would fucking know what WWE just as, whereas like Hulk Hogan, he was like bigger than fucking WWE. Like, Vince really reeled it in, and he worked with Vince, but, he was becoming bigger was bigger in a lot of ways as well. So it's just crazy, man. It's nuts. Like, to think, I don't know. To me, like, when you watch a match like The Rock versus Hogan, to me, it's like crazy to me that people don't see that as one of the best matches ever at Mania 18, right? Like, they could have just went in there and like high-fived, and the crowd would have fucking erupted. They didn't have to do anything. And that's like, imagine you're so over. And I don't fucking know. It's just the beauty of what you do, of the whole art of like what they do, rather. You do what Hogan did, or what Michael Cole does, or Andre, what you do in the pro wrestling business, It's just working people into like having the best time of their fucking lives. So he did it in like the biggest era where it was shit's on MTV and stuff. Like, when that People don't understand the magnitude of what MTV was back then and shit, you know, compared to like now. There's no equivalent to it because people just find content in their niche little pockets now, you know.
500-pound Andre the Giant.
Whereas someone pointed it out earlier, 33.3 million Illuminati or whatever, right? Tuned in to see fucking Hogan Andre. Like, that's crazy. People don't gather for shit like that anymore, unless it's maybe like the Super Bowl. But even then, you can watch it on streaming, brother. Coming to Netflix soon, dude.
He did the greatest WrestleMania match in history because of the story that was told. 2002, Skydome, Toronto, WrestleMania 18. It was Hogan versus The Rock. 68,000 fans, as loud as I've ever heard.
The greatest look. This is the thing with this match, too. It's the greatest look at the crowd back and forth ever. Like, wrestlers try and recreate this shit once a week, I feel like. Okay, where two guys go face to face, then they look at both sides of the crowd. They do it once every Royal Rumble now. This was the greatest one. Like, some of these wrestlers, I don't know what it is. Their timing's off. They're just going through the motions and they're not living in the moment. But these two motherfuckers were in this moment, and the way they do the look at both sides of the arena, like all of it. It was just everything about this match, dude, was the great
history of WrestleMania. I think the second moment and the personal moment for me was a year later at WrestleMania 19 in Seattle. My broadcast partner Taz and I were at ringside and had the opportunity to call our first Hulk Hogan premium live event match. And that was a match at WrestleMania against Mr. McMahon. Mr. McMahon, of course, was the villain. He was the guy who was running the corporate industry of WWE that people like Hulk Hogan were fighting against. And they dubbed this 20 years in the making, McMahon versus Hogan. And it was an incredible moment in my career to be able to call Hulk Hogan in a match of that caliber.
You know, we just mentioned sort of generationally what Hulk Hogan meant and who he was. Of course, for us, it was because of our age, all about the wrestling. There was, of course, people who only remember him from reality TV. When you sort of think about the impact that he had, what will be his lasting legacy?
Hulk Hogan's lasting legacy will be that it was probably the greatest professional wrestler of all time. I'm not just talking in-ring performance. I'm talking about the way that he brought our industry into the mainstream, into the forefront of society, where people in every country on this earth would know the name Hulk Hogan, would know the name WWF/WWE. Detractors, he was very controversial.
And he used to go, when I put the squeeze on him, brother, because he used to do like the torture rack, but what is that move called? I guess that's like a Canadian backbreaker, right? Where you power him up and then you don't have him in a torture rack, but you have him over one shoulder and you're like bear hugging him, or you do the bear hug, right? And he'd be like, when these arms put the squeeze on you, dude. That was funny too. That was his thing for a while. And the leg drop was just like a move he did. You know, and thank God whoever told him, dude, that should be your finish. But it did fuck his back and hips up and stuff. So maybe not. But at the same time, that's how he made his goddamn money. That move is so iconic, you know?
Controversial, obviously, toward the end of his career. But no matter what you think about Hulk Hogan, his legacy as a professional wrestler will probably be the greatest of all time.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Shout out to Michael Cole there. Here is what DDP had to say about the Hulkster. Chat, we're diving in deep with the Hulkster stuff
I'm fed
here.
up because these guys are never going to give me an opportunity. And I'm going to see if he can get me tried. I'm going to ask for my release. And he said, before you do that, he goes, let me tell you something.
Let me tell you something, dude.
Whatever
Let me tell you something, Diamond Dallas.
doing, keep doing it, because it's not today or next year or the year after. He goes, but somewhere down the line, I honestly believe that you could draw huge money with me. And he walked away. And all I could think about was like, did Hulk Hogan just tell me he watched my matches? And one of the things that I strongly believe at my core, you know, a lot of people believe it's all about who you know, or who knows you. But what it's really about is who's willing to say they know you.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Who's willing to pick up the phone and make a call for you and put their name on the line for you. And I went to go up the stairs to get on the bus. and I hear Diamond. I walk downstairs into the room, his locker room, and Bischoff's with him. And he says to Eric, you need to do something with him because I feel down the line, he could draw huge money with me. And now my fucking jaws dropped, right? And it was Hulk. Like, you guys have heard me say this before. This is my quote. Never.
Damn.
Never underestimate the power someone gives you by believing in you.
Damn. It's hard to see your heroes like get all emotional and shit, you know? Let's see here. I'm gonna check in with chat. I just want to you know, The Rock posted a lengthy goodbye, and basically he tells the story, you know, to the millions of little kids, to millions of little kids. You were a hero, you know, at MSG. You kept your word with a handshake. Thanks, kid. To a 12-year-old little boy 17 years later, and I'm wrestling you at WrestleMania, you know. You may have passed the torch to me that night, but my friend, you drew the house, meaning you sold out every arena and stadium across the country in your prime as Hulk Hogan. From deep in my bones and on behalf of this wild and crazy world of professional wrestling, I say to you, then, now, and forever, thank you for the house, brother. Yeah, a lot of wrestlers are just like, thank you for the house, Hulk. And yeah. Netflix has been working on Hulk Hogan docuseries for the past year, and I mean, it's so tragic, but it's going to end with him passing, you know, and they're documenting the whole goddamn thing. So, yeah, I hope everybody tunes in his memory and all of that. But yeah, they've been documenting, so all of this struggles of his surgeries and stuff and everything, we're gonna probably see that in this doc. So that will be a tremendously hard watch, especially posthumously, you know. Here's what Eric Bischoff had to say. He did a Hulk Hogan tribute episode of 83 Weeks, and he was, remember, man, Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff are such good brothers, brother, that at one point Hulkster sold everything to Bischoff for $1 to protect his shit. Bischoff could have royally screwed him there with that, and he didn't, right? He chose not to. Like a good friend, you know? Some people's families would probably fuck them if you gave them that type of power over everything you own when you're trying to protect it, right? But these guys were brothers, and Real American Freestyle Wrestling is coming out soon, and Hulkster was a big part of that. And I think their show will be in memoriam of him as well. Let's listen to what Bischoff had to say.
Finally now sinking in, but it's surreal, man. It's not just, you know, in my case, losing one of my best friends. That's a big enough deal. But everywhere I look for the last 2 days, it's Hulk Hogan. He's all over the news. He's all over social media, and the outpouring of good stuff makes me smile. No, this is not going to be easy. Wow. So it's just starting to sink in, and it will, and we'll go about our business, because that's what he would do. He'd be kicking my ass if he thought I was moping around and, as he would say, missing a beat. Brother, you don't miss a beat, brother. So,
can't miss a beat, brother. Can't miss a beat,
finally,
Jack. Here's what Bubba Ray had to say. And we're almost done with the Hulk Hogan tributes and that, but I think it's important, guys. So if you're not here for that, I fucking sorry. It's my show. Make your own show and then go and then don't do this, right?
We lost
the biggest name in professional wrestling. And make no mistake, Hulk Hogan is the biggest name in professional wrestling. Hulk Hogan is the be-all and end-all when it comes to this business. Without Hulk, all of this stuff does not go on. This business doesn't boom the way it did and continues to do. Without Hulk Hogan, there is no match against The Rock for the greatest of all time. There is no house. There's no house in the Garden. There's no house in Toronto at the Superdome or whatever.
At the Superdome, Jack.
There's no house in Sheboygan, Duluth, Des Moines, Bangor, and Bakersfield. Hulk Hogan will always be responsible for the house. And in this case, the house is in the entire professional wrestling business.
Hell yeah. And let's see here. Yeah, so that, ladies and gentlemen, was the first. That was a Remembering Hulk Hogan segment here on PWT. Round of applause. I'm going to check in with chat. 626 for 5 says Hulk gave tons of money to charities. Oh, noes. He got drunk and said the N-word. People virtue signal like it's their job. Maybe they should get one. Hey, man, you're entitled to your opinion. You know, I just maintain in the camp, like, I'm not going to tell anyone how to feel good or bad or indifferent about it. I'm just going to tell you from my perspective and share people, like, remembering the guy for his contributions to wrestling, you know? Yeah, so if he donated to charities, I'm sure he did. Didn't he do like a bunch of Make-A-Wishes and stuff too? Yeah, so that's good on him, brother. 626 for 2 says the opinions of IWC Marks means less than 0. You're probably right, man. Blue-eyed boy who's been a member for 5 months says PWT. Yeah, hell yeah, dude. And I appreciate you. Let me acknowledge
me
for that. Yes, but they can always edit it. Gotcha, thanks. Thursdays is Collision taped. All they needed was a still graphic. Without Hogan, wrestling doesn't make it past the 80s. I agree, Jay. I was just throwing that out there. Yeah, done. Okay. Is AEW on? Should I throw it on? I might just throw it on. AEW did not put a graphic of Hulk Hogan before Collision. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a bit here. We will definitely talk about that. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's hit a breaking news. Got a lot to get to tonight. So we're breezing through here tonight. Per bodyslam.net, WWE is not interested in bringing Paige back, and there have been no discussions about her return. In fact, there were absolutely no plans for her to appear at this month's Evolution PLE. Craziness. I didn't think that there was plans for her at the PLE. I don't know why people just sort of made that up, but whether or not there's discussions with WWE, I mean, how would anyone truly know who she's texted or phoned or who she's ran into at an airport or something? Like, we are at a con. We fucking Tony Khan. We don't know. So I would say that The Rock would love to have her in WWE. Still, let's put it that way. Right? She was in that whole fight. They made a whole movie about her life, and The Rock, was in charge of that. And they got Florence Pugh to fucking play her. And, so her, Zelina Vega, AJ Lee, I think they're all open door policy with WWE. But it's just like, where does it make sense? What role is she wants to wrestle again? We don't really see you wrestling. So what are you going to do? GM of Evolve, we got someone to do that, So here's Matt Morgan, friend of the show. And he says, here's my hot take on how excellent Steph Vaquer always has been. So here's Matt Morgan's hot take with Raj Geary and Jack Farmer here. Jumping Jack Farmer. I'm going full force on podcast heat, massive heat. And here's his thoughts on Steph, who I just think is one of the best in the world, laying her claim to that. She has some more legacy to build before you can fully say that. But just as far as like in-ring talent and like understanding how to get over and get her shit over, it's like she's one of the top for me right now.
The perversion of Booker's comments on it, it takes away from how freaking talented she is, and he just gets a you know what for her move that she does, right, with her legs driving the dude. Like, that's a move many female and male talents have done over the years, including Tajiri. I didn't hear him talking like that when they were doing it, but he is with her. In respect, that's his game if that's what he's doing. But it takes away from her, and it minimizes a very, very excellent female wrestler that she has what the kids call aura in flipping spades. She doesn't have to talk in the microphone, even though she can hold her own. She doesn't have to. Her facial expression.
Yeah, I agree with Morgan on the like for the most part. However, like pardon me. I swallowed water down the wrong pipe. I know you guys have done that too. Oh my God, I'm dying. I'm drowning. Send help. Send a life jacket. Oh my God. Sorry, guys. I'm dead. All right. Okay. Where were we? Sorry. Oh, I murked myself. Okay. I'm an infant and don't know how to drink water. So, sorry about that, guys. Jesus Christ. I typically agree with Matt Morgan. I think she has leaned into that aspect of it, though, the whole part. And so I think it doesn't diminish it in any way. If she was trying to escape that and people kept doing it, then maybe. So I disagree with him on that aspect of it. But yes, his analysis of her work, I think, is spot on. And I'll try not to die in between pauses here, chat.
No, she can hold her own. She doesn't have to. Her facial expressions. Go back and watch this match right here. The main event match. Go back and watch it. Tell me between her and...
Swallowed down the wrong pipe? What is that? Doing what?
Io Sky, besides Io Sky doing this at her crescendo of her high spot she hit. Besides that, tell me between those two talents who non-verbally got more over in that match tonight. Without question, it's Stephanie Baker.
Yeah, I just think they're too... Io makes everyone look like $1 billion too. Roxanne, and then Stephanie makes everyone look like $1 million. Roxanne speaks on recent online threats made towards her. She says, I always heard about these stories, but I never really expected them to happen, especially so soon. The situations like that can be very scary, and I think that people should take these things seriously, and I think that people should be very careful with what they post online because you don't know how it can affect other people. WWE does a great job at protecting us, and regardless of whatever's posted online or whatever threats happened online, WWE has the best security in the world. So yeah, I feel very safe with the WWE. Well, not if you watch the shows every week there, Roxanne. These securities look like a bunch of J-Brones. It's like my friends at the pub and I could wipe out some of these jobbers. No. Obviously, the real life securities. WWE Late Night featuring comedian Tony Hinchcliffe during SummerSlam weekend has been canceled. One source at the venue said that the event was canceled by WWE and that ticket sales for the event had been light, according to PW Insider. So here's the thing. I've said it before. These roasts and these sorts of like Tony Hinchcliffe, WWE Late Night, we're going to roast, we're going to tell dirty jokes, and it's going to be awesome for the adults. You need to televise it or it's not worth it. It's just literally not worth it to anybody. You need to at least film that shit and air it on Netflix or something. Nobody wants to go to one of these roasts unless it's like a roast battle, but even those all get uploaded, you know? So people don't want to go to these shits if it's not like an affair of... Like if you guys listen to the audio for the roast, the WrestleMania roast, there's like a lot of wrestling marks in the crowd, obviously. And a lot of them are like doing the wrestling chants and shit. It's not like a typical comedy crowd. So unless this thing's on TV, you're just gonna attract like sickos and wackos, you know, who want to see the wrestlers do shit. Otherwise, it's just not worth it. If I was them, I'd just do it. I'd do it on TV or just not at all, you know. Moving along here. So per Fightful, Karrion Kross has told multiple wrestlers that neither he nor Scarlett have signed new deals with WWE, and they haven't even been offered new contracts. His current deal is set to expire in August. Yeah, so I think it's safe to say that he'll stick around with the company. So they're saying his deal's set to expire next month. Yeah, so coming right up. So we'll know. I mean, he's about to get a big win at SummerSlam, if I'm guessing, right? He's going to win the trilogy with Sammy. That has to be the way they're going with this story. Otherwise, they really got nothing for Sammy, and they really ain't pulling the trigger on Kross. So, yeah, I'm interested to see what happens. I think he'll stick around, bro. I just think WWE is where he's supposed to be at. Speaking of where they're supposed to be at, it's announced Dragon Lee in AAA at Triple Mania 33. It's Dragon Lee, El Hijo del Vikingo, Dominic Mysterio, El Grande Americano in a four-way. So WWE superstars essentially for the championship. And Dominic Mysterio showed up at a AAA show. He attacked some folks, and he got Stone Cold Steve Austin level pops, and I'm not exaggerating. We have multiple videos and audios of this, and this is on HBO Max. Some AAA action here. Dom shows up in a max. Let me max you a question.
Oye, ¿quién está subiendo al ring? ¿Qué es esto? ¿Quién se metió? Security, ¿dónde está la seguridad? Se metió. ¡No! ¡Dominic Mysterio! ¡Dominic! ¡El campeón intercontinental! ¡Ya golpeó a Dragon Lee! ¡No! ¡Qué momento! ¡Gracias, lucha libre! ¡Gracias, Triple A!
Listen to that heat. And this doesn't do it justice. I'm going to play you another clip.
¿Qué está pasando? ¡Tiene el mega
But even this does do it justice, but like, trust me.
campeonato en mano! Pues creo que uno más se quiere sumar a esta fiesta. No lo puedo creer. ¿Qué está pasando esta noche?
When's Triple Mania? Should we do a PWT stream for Triple Mania? Get me the date on that, and then I'll figure out if we'll do a stream for that shit. Because come on now. Look at that four-way match for the title. I'm here for that. Eric?
Está mala. No está mal. Se va a ver frente a frente. Tiene el titán. Bajaron al hijo del vikingo. ¿Será que en Triple Manía puede pasar esto? Vamos a escuchar a Dom.
And El Grande getting big pops as well. He's a German dude playing a American dude playing a Spanish dude who does. Also at AAA, Alberto Del Rio has been forced to leave AAA after losing to El Messias tonight. He is gone. He's done. And even though they kind of got a babyface run out of him, like in the end there, not even a run, I guess, like an event, a month's worth of shit out of it. I just think he'll be behind the scenes. He'll just work as a producer. He won't be on TV. And then he'll probably take bookings elsewhere, like just random, wherever he can get booked, you know? And I don't think that'll be too big of a problem for him, especially in Mexico. And I could even see them doing, or maybe not, because I totally see them taking this AAA shit and doing like a weekly YouTube show and airing it on the WWE channels. Why wouldn't you do that? And then if they don't want Alberto a part of that, then there you go. So El Grande Americano, he got the entire crowd singing with him. Of course, this is Ludwig speaking in Spanish to the Mexican masses here, and they are eating this shit up. He's really embraced the El Grande thing as well. We're not trying to work ourselves into a work shoot here, brother, but just being real about it. Him and Gable, like, are we gonna get? So is this what we're gonna get eventually? Gable versus Ludwig, Grande versus Grande, like Grande Dos, Mask versus Mask. Like, how funny would that be? How good would that be? And like, it almost doesn't matter who loses, kind of, because or is there like two El Grandes team up? I want to see two El Grandes fight, man.
Yo soy mexicano. Amo México. Amo los mexicanos. Mi color es verde, blanco, rojo. ¡Viva México, güey! Es verdad, güey. Yo soy mexicano. Chingonas y chingones. Escúchame. De la Sierra Morena, cielito lindo, de bajando. Un patriótico negros, de contrabando. Ay, 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 canta dolores, porque cantando se hace y corremos los corazones.
Yeah, so I don't know how people don't see this as like a net positive for WWE and AAA just in general. Like, they're bringing so much attention to it. Speaking of attention to it, AAA World Tag Team Champions Los Garzas throw down an open challenge for any team to challenge them next week on SmackDown for their titles. So I don't even know if I want to play this. We'll probably get sniped up, but we're going to defend the AAA World Tag Team titles on SmackDown next week, which is kind of wild if you think about it. Like, what timeline do we live in where this is happening? I'm marking out for this shit hard. And this will be cool. And they're taking the time to promote it enough, I guess. It would be cool. Like, it's very AEW of them, And I just hope that whatever team shows up, it's just like some AAA guys and they squash them type shit. Well, what does that do for the partnership, Brian? Well, you got El Grande and Dominic, and they're going viral and all this shit. Like, it's an even exchange, and these titles get showcased on TV, and it helps. Like, if the approach is, hey, we own AAA and we work with TNA or whatever the fuck, then okay. So far, I'm just seeing them elevate TNA and elevate AAA to where more people are talking about it. I don't think like AEW working with New Japan got more people talking about New Japan, right? Or like Tony Khan buying ROH, were more people talking about it. I really don't think. Maybe like in that instance, but it's about the same, if not less, right? Like ROH, I've always had this saying, I've said it a billion times. You guys are probably going to mock me. It's like Joe Rogan bringing up wolves on his fucking podcast, okay? But I've always said it. Like, if 1 million people were going to watch Ring of Honor, they would have fucking watched Ring of Honor already. There's nothing you can do to it to, unless it gets revitalized like TNA did, but I just don't ever see that happening. So I don't know. I think it's a net positive working with AAA and TNA and all these other companies. El Grande Americano is, he's just meeting with all the fans like after as well. There's people going nuts for him, singing with him and to him. Yeah, so he's just getting it even more over than Gable could, because he can actually speak Spanish and shit. You know what I mean? So it's quite interesting, to say the least. Okay, so here's the footage of is this, well, we already watched Ludwig, El Grande's promo, so we don't need to watch that again. But here is the unedited audio, like in the crowd version. This is what, if you were in the audience, what you were hearing. And Triple H made sure to upload this to his Twitter for Dominic Mysterio's return to AAA. Let's listen. I have to fix my fucking speakers from being blown out. And here's the thing, right? Like in Mexico, they're dying for, we want WWE like Raws and shit. They're dying for that right now. And so to them, if they are like, well, I go to AAA shows, I want to AAA shows, I want to see WWE shows and that. For them, it's like for Dom to possibly be their champion, that's a huge thing. And they're so down for it. And WWE, it's like, well, why? We can just blow AAA up and have them use a bunch of our stars and shit like that and get people experience. And I just love it. I love that WWE's doing this. This is one of the definite positive changes since Vince left. You guys know what I'm saying? Okay, I'm going to check back in with chat, and then we're going to get into more WWE news because we've got a lot there. But that was AAA news, ladies and gentlemen. So round of applause for AAA news. So for 5 says, so let me get this right. AEW has an annual tribute tournament for Owen Hart, and yet didn't even mention Hogan. So we're almost there. I'm going to jump into AEW news immediately after WWE news today, guys. And yeah, so I'll talk about that and give my take on it in a bit, okay? But yeah, you are right, but Tony's damned if he does, damned if he doesn't. He worked himself into a work shoot, brother. He did that. So we'll talk about that in a bit when we get there, but yes, it's true. It's damn true. That's what they do. George Capture for 5 says, LOL, I'll be hosting the Phil Marks tribute show tomorrow. Yeah, dude, I was choking on water. I just swallowed down the wrong pipe and started dying. It's like, oh, shit. I didn't know if I was going to be able to recover at any point there. So 626 for 2 says, I'd pay to see Hinchcliffe versus Jesselnick in a shoot in a cage match, dude. Yeah, and Bobby Lee can fucking guest referee it. Or no, Brendan Schaub. Mike Saucelays for 2 says August 16th is Triple Mania, 7 p.m. Is that EST? So I got to look at a calendar, but yeah, we could totally, probably, most likely go live for that. Why the fuck not? Eric, I'm here for it, Eric. And I acknowledge all of our super chatters.
Acknowledge me.
The PWT universe. Thank you all so much. Tony Khan shows no tribute to Hogan. Yeah, he didn't show any tribute to Hogan, I guess. They just did mention Hogan, Shivani. I'm reading ahead here. Dyslexia. Just made a statement that talked more. I'm hungry, guys. What can I say? Talked more about TNT than about Hogan. Yeah, because they are worked themselves into a fucking shoot because Tony Khan just talked so much shit in the early days of AEW. So now he's just fucked and he looks stupid. He looks petty, even though I don't know. I just don't care if he doesn't ever try to insert himself in any history. So I personally don't care that he brought it up or that they didn't bring it up or whatever. So let's get into some more. Yeah, we got to get through this WWE news here tonight. So breaking news, here is the card for GCW Wrestling presents the ID Showcase on August 1st in Rutherford, New Jersey, to kick off SummerSlam weekend. So the WWE ID Men's Championship, Cappuccino Jones versus Jack Cartwheel. The most like carny wrestling fucking names ever. The ID Women's Championship match, Kylie Ray versus Zara Zacher versus Zeta Steele. Those three ladies should be the three. They're getting the biggest names out there on the indies, like getting the most push from fans and the ID program and all that. Special challenge match, Timothy Thatcher versus Aaron Rourke. Non-title match, the Evolve champion Jackson Drake versus Jordan Oasis. A 6-man tag team challenge, Brad Baylor, Ricky Smokes, and Bryce Donovan of the Vanity Project versus Marcus Mathers, I'm an Alcoholic, Alec Price, and Jordan Oliver. Grudge match, Aaron Roberts versus It's Gal. And a special challenge match, Ice Williams versus Bobby Orlando. So there you go. Those all sound like names from the movie The Wrestler. Like that, those are all people that Randy the Ram would face in the movie The Wrestler. So WWE is currently not planning to sign Saraya, allegedly. As revealed at SDCC, new LJN figures are back. Check out photos of the first series. So who grew up watching these? Speaking of member berries, playing with these rather. I'm all over the place. Dusty Rhodes, they made one of, which I think is really cool. Wasn't that like the best-selling one or one of them? And then a John Cena, and then Logan Paul somehow wormed his way into getting one of those. So Goldberg said this on CarCast. Gunther stayed 30 minutes to an hour afterwards. After I was talking to all my friends in the back, the kid's got class. He's got a lot of class. I cannot say enough good things about him, and hopefully his future's filled with nothing but awesome stuff. But fuck that guy in my retirement. No, he didn't say that last part. I made that up. But he might as well have said that, with his comments on Ariel Helwani show. So Jacob Fatu and other wrestlers were at San Diego Comic-Con. Of course, like Jey Uso and CM Punk were there together. Yeah, guys, check that out. If you're a nerd like me, you like shit like that. So Jacob Fatu was asked how he felt so far in WWE.
For real, just sitting up here looking at everybody out there, man, it's mind-blowing. It's real life-changing. Like you said, oh man, 100. Nah, but before me, there was it started way back off of Sika and them, long lineage, including our family, my uncle. So before me, man, I'm just happy to be actually a part of the bloodline. Happy to be a part of the dynasty. Happy to be here in WWE. So thank you very much.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. He's doing the damn thing. Goldberg injured in retirement match at WWE Saturday Night's main event, allegedly. Right? WWE waived a clause they have with arenas, which this is according to the newsletter, so who knows if this is real or not. But apparently, WWE waived a clause that they have with arenas, which prevents the venue from promoting another pro wrestling event before their own show takes place. This allowed TNA to announce Bound for Glory for the Tsongas Center in Lowell, Massachusetts for October 12 before WWE's own show in the building on August 24. So there you go. A great partnership then, right, Dave? So that would be a beneficial part of the partnership. TNA can swoop in and get these buildings even before the Fed. Nikki Bella says all of her talking scenes in Happy Gilmore 2 were cut from the finished product. Now, I watched Happy Gilmore 2 last night. I was fairly buzzing. I may have been a little drunk, maybe a little tipsy, maybe a little on the drunk side, not going to lie, right? And I watched Happy Gilmore 2. And it's an utter travesty. It is an utter garbage, TikTok-brained piece of shit. It has zero soul like the original. But if you just like watching Adam Sandler do funny shit with his friends and like some callbacks to some characters and, it's like the member berries thing. Like we all pop for that a little bit. It's just mindless fun. That's all it is. It's just like a mindless fun movie where shit's funny here and there, there's a couple funny gags, and like the premise actually works. I don't want to spoil it if no one saw it, but like the premise is actually really good. It would make sense for a Happy Gilmore movie. You're like, oh, okay, Like during the intro part, you're like, okay, that works. Actually makes a lot of sense. That's a better idea than I thought. And then it just completely, like, the third act is just like, what the fuck happened to this movie? You know, it was so bad. And some of the cameos were just straight forced in there by the Illuminati, clearly, right? But Nikki Bella said, I remember hearing a few months ago that 20 minutes was going to have to be cut out. I've been praying. So it's over 2 hours, I think. So how was there an extra 20 minutes? It feels like they put everything in there that they could and didn't want to cut anything out. But she says, I've been praying that it wouldn't be my stuff. Well, guess what? All my talking stuff got cut, not just me. It's the whole group of people that I filmed with. So she plays Becky Lynch's caddy. So MJF is in the movie. Like, if you weren't a fan of MJF, he's just one of the kids. Like, he kind of stands out as, oh, that's the oldest brother, and he's like the oldest buffer of the brothers, you know? But other than, and he kind of leads the pack of the siblings. But other than that, he's not he doesn't stand out too much. Like, if you know who he is, you're like, oh, cool, that's MJF. He's in it quite a bit. You're like, damn, that's good for him. Becky Lynch is in it for, she's like in some of the worst shit in the movie ever, you know? And she's like one of the golfers. And then Nikki Bella plays her caddy, and it's a blink and you'll miss it. I actually didn't realize I had to look up on Reddit after to see exactly where she was. I was like, I didn't even spot her. So I looked on Reddit, and then someone had a screen grab of her. She's like standing behind Becky for like 1 second. And then I guess she had talking lines. They all got cut. Thank God. Lucky for her is what I tweeted out. But she says, I mean, I'm not going to lie, inside I was really bummed and devastated. I was sad. I almost wish I knew, especially because I did media right before that. You don't even end up knowing my name. And who gives a fuck? You're a fucking caddy. You didn't end up knowing the caddy's name either until this movie from the first movie. Speaking of knowing names, though, Donkey from Shrek is a huge Jacob Fatu and OTC mark, dude.
What's up, my friend? How you doing? Look at this. How you doing, brother? I'm doing good, man. You blessing me with a wonderful Samoan werewolf. Yeah, I love you too, man. So wait, quick question. Are you excited that the one true tribal chief came back last Monday? Isn't that cool? Look at that, man. The OTC, we living in a good time, brother. Here it is. Let's get you a picture. Cheers. Acknowledge him. I love that, brother. Heck yeah. Well, of course, brother. Good to see you, my friend.
Amazing. Give that guy a raise right now. Have him debut on SmackDown and team with JC Mateo immediately, pal. Shawn Michaels says he is not bothered by how the DX versus Brothers of Destruction match at WWE Crown Jewel 2018 went. He says, it so doesn't bother me. I don't care that it went. If that's going to be the one blemish out of the whatever, the 599 that went fantastic. You put one blemish on it, and that's gonna, I could care. Yeah, no one could badger me enough to make me feel bad about that. Yeah, I wouldn't either. And just shit went wrong. They just shouldn't have done it. It was too forced, you know. So Our Lady Peace, the band behind Chris Benoit's iconic theme song, has released an updated version of the song. So again, they played it in concert not that long ago. I think like in Edmonton. And then they made a statement saying like, yeah, it's not, it was a great song. And it was. That song fucking ruled. Same with Kane's like Finger 11 remix to his theme. That shit ruled too. But Our Lady Peace said it's been 23 years since the tragic events surrounding WWE wrestler Chris Benoit and the theme song we wrote for him. We feel that enough time has passed that it was necessary to re-record whatever to help shine a light on self-deletion prevention and mental health awareness. We're donating all monies earned from streaming whatever to deletion prevention initiatives across North America. And yeah, let's listen first.
Back, holding me back.
Original's better. Should it? The original's better. Just being honest. So, CM Punk reveals that he and his wife AJ Lee have recently been playing Resident Evil and Silent Hill together. Couples that game together stay together, daddy.
If I'm not working, I try to be a homebody. I like hanging out with my dog and my wife. My wife and I will play video games together, which is sometimes very, very stressful.
Yeah.
We've recently, I'm bad. She's super into like the Resident Evils, and I think we just played one of the remastered Silent Hills, and I think we beat that. And playing horror video games with my wife makes me fall in love with not only her all over again, but the horror genre. Because when there's jump scares, she's sitting right next to me, and I mean, screaming in my ear. If she had a bucket of popcorn, it would be in the air. And I'm like, haven't you played this game before? You know, like, but it's still like, it still gets her. So it's fun.
Hell yeah. Yeah. Me and my wife frequent the horror. You know, she just loves that shit. She's into all that horror movie, fucking all these Chucky dolls and these Jasons and these Michaels and all these whatchamacallums. So Dylan Postel, Hornswoggle, says, so excited to be teaming up with WWE and Fanatics again this week. Guys, I have a Fanatics affiliate code below. If you go and buy any WWE merch, any Hulk Hogan memorabilia, use my link below and you directly support PWT and WWE, and it's no extra cost or anything like that. It's just a little link you use, and yeah, show some love. Friday, August 1st at the American Dream Mall in New Jersey. Get your tickets now. So shout out Swoggle, man, doing work with WWE. I was always such a Finley fan. I would love to see Fit Finley. I would love to see him and Swoggle like in the WWE games as like a nostalgia whatever. So coming back, speaking of comebacks, coming back to Josh Barnett's Bloodsport, GCW Bloodsport, Pete Dunne will be at Bloodsport, and Charlie Dempsey. So that's good shit right there, pal. Kiana James is now the official representation for Julia. What a nice touch on SmackDown, adding Kiana James. Obviously, they're high on her, and she's on SmackDown sort of speaking for Julia and is like her representation. And it just makes Julia seem more of like a prize fighter type, more of like a lethal weapon type, you know, more of like a legitimate champion who's like, just talk to my representation and I'm your United States champion and I'm just going to go fight, and because that's what I do best, and I'll let her do the talking, and I have someone in my corner, gets more heat on me. When I cut promos in Japanese and knee bitches in the face, it kind of gets me over more like as a baby face, you know, because people think that's cool, but Kiana can get some heat and all that. And I like it. I like the pairing. It's a little out of left field, but it's something different. It's better than like sticking her in with the Kabuki Warriors or some shit, you know, like this is her own thing. And I like it. Great addition to SmackDown. Speaking of Julia Gulia, here her English has gotten so good in the meanwhile. And here's Julia at San Diego Comic-Con.
Is made by Japanese artists, and I have deep respect for their work. Yeah, and my favorite right now is current yellow and blue gear. Yeah.
Love it.
Thank you.
Love it.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that I didn't use yellow much before, so I wasn't sure at first, but it turned out, oh my God, great. I thought when it arrived at my home, I was like, oh, will be so cool as a figure. So I hope one day it becomes figure.
Bill, are we listening, Bill?
Yeah, she's just got, you know, the kids overuse it. It's just the aura. It's just something about her. You know, it's like that Shinsuke thing. She gives off that Shinsuke vibe, kind of, you know. Upcoming Mattel WWE Street Fighter mashup. So Kenny Omega's punching the air right now. But the Ultimate Warrior is Blanca. Right? And then we have the final boss, Rock, as M. Bison, dude. That one actually works. I actually want that. That's cool as fuck. And then you have Rey Mysterio as Ryu, which I guess, I don't know. Maybe Cody Rhodes would fit in there. Or is that not, or like a John Cena? But whatever. Ray got the look, so good for him. And yeah, that The Rock as M. Bison, it's like that's who they should have casted as M. Bison in the movie. No. Yeah, so that, ladies and gentlemen, was WWE news. We have a little bit more Hulkster stuff, but it's on the conspiratorial side, folks. So we're going to. Maddie for 2 says Jelly Roll did a nice boss man slam. Yeah, that was sick. That was sick, dude. He actually hit it nice. And he was bleeding. Logan Paul was bleeding, and who else bled? Alexa Bliss was bleeding on SmackDown as well. So not that I'm like, oh, all the blood, but it's just like the little hard way. Like they're working stiff in there. They're having fun. A little busted lip or bloody nose never killed nobody. And yeah, it's just cool to see. Like, you know, I feel like WWE, they're putting on great matches and shit for the most part. And some people kind of take it for granted. Because the storylines aren't always like incredibly well, fucking SummerSlam looks great. It looks great. I'll do a preview show for that this week coming up, okay? But SummerSlam looks awesome to me. I'm like excited for both the nights. I don't even know what's on night 1, what's on night 2 yet officially, unless they've announced stuff and I'm not aware of it. And I just wasn't paying attention on SmackDown. But either way you divvy up these matches, I'm excited for both nights so far. Just what they're offering so far. I'm like, hell yeah. So, yeah. 6, I liked his original podcast better. They got into deeper stuff. You know, this is filtered by WWE. G's Mike, and that the back and forth on whether to mention Hulk was about how they could tie AEW to WCW. We're going to get into that like right away. Accidental bloodshed. Yeah, she was on the rag. Okay. That's not that hard. You just have to learn the day Bison came to your village. Gunther spoke better English than 80% of the roster. Well, Phil, like Capcom said, they want to make video games the WWE. They should do fighters and shit with WWE. What about Chael burying Goldberg? Yeah, I watched the clip. I might do like an edit of that. If you guys look on the channel, there's an edit I made of like Chael burying Cody Rhodes. So I was thinking about doing one of those for Goldberg, but I'm waiting for a couple more clips to sort of pop up in the wild, you know, of him talking shit. But yeah, I listen to that. Fucking Chael's amazing. He's so funny. Okay, let's get into basically here in WWE news as it pertains to Hulk Hogan. So let's get back into breaking news. So earlier in the show, at the start of the show, we covered, you know, sort of the lighter side of Hogan's passing, right? But there's been some dark side to it. You know, I'm sure there'll be a Dark Side of the Ring episode about Hulk Hogan too, to some degree. I'm sure of it. I'm certain of it now that he's gone. But of course in the sicko segment, if we get around, I'm sure we will tonight, but there's a lot of not a lot, I didn't go overboard with it, but just a few to drive the point home or reflect some hypocrisies in that. But something that just pertains to a WWE superstar is Chelsea Green. So she put her condolences out for Hulk Hogan, and then she got attacked by like a bunch of sickos, right? And then she like retracted her condolences with this tweet saying like, or no, sorry, it isn't this tweet. This is her tweet, like sort of hanging it up on social media. But so she puts out a tweet sort of like retracting her condolences and like apologizing for sending condolences. And then she got attacked by wackos for being like, you shouldn't have taken it back and all this shit. So I can't even imagine. She got it from both sides, pause. And I don't even want to fucking know what her DMs looked like that day, dude. And so she tweeted out, a significant part of my role at WWE involves engaging with the public and responding to questions, often on live platforms. Yesterday, I was asked to comment on Hulk Hogan on live TV. Let me be clear. My stance on racism is unwavering. I do not condone it, period. If my response or tweet seemed dismissive of real concerns, I sincerely apologize. That was never my intention. I try to acknowledge a death respectfully, even when the legacy is complicated. I'm learning one day at a time. and we'll continue to learn. Oh, so this was like her apology, right? And I guess for sending condolences. I don't know. And then, but there's another tweet where she quit socials. That's probably in the sicko segment. Okay. There was a day where the bookmarks were messing up too. And I don't know, some stuff might not even be bookmarked. We might have to do a rapid fire round at the end of the show just to clear up what's, floating in the, what would it be called? The, limbo, right? No home. Are you too good for your home? Why don't you go home, ball? I wish there was good jokes like that in Happy Gilmore too, but I digress. She eventually quit social media, and yeah, it's just unfortunate. IWC is cooked, and she shouldn't have apologized for sending condolences. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not one of these guys who likes to rely on like everything's woke, man, but like when you pander to that sort of audience, like she kind of does. No, I don't want to call it pander because like whatever. When that's like the majority of your fan base, those people, like there's a term for that on the internet. A lot of them are called cancel pigs, and they just like to eat each other alive. Like no one's perfect enough to exist in that realm, So, and you choose ultimately if you're in that bubble, and she's chosen that, whatever, political shit aside, whatever. And yeah, so that's her dealing with now being attacked by both sides of fucking people, and it's like, man, just leave her alone. When I see people getting piled on, that's when I always am like, yo, don't add to it, Some things, obviously, like Dave, I'm always going to make fun of him. I am the Dave commander. No one rules a fucking Dave like me. But let's get into some conspiracy time now, because there is some dark shit, obviously, that has come out of, as much as there's a light side of everyone praising Hulk Hogan for his contributions to the business, there's a dark side of the ring, as we know. And so conspiracies are afoot immediately. Whenever there's a high profile divorce, everyone wants to know the ins and outs and who gets what and who keeps the dog and is the ex-wife involved. And by the way, I think Linda Hogan did make up some lie and say like Brooks just trying to get all his money and she hasn't talked to him in 7 years or something. And then Brooke came out and was like, I haven't talked to my dad since 2023 and I told him to take it easy, but I'm at peace with whatever. So again, just Linda getting in the mix, whatever. I'm not gonna speculate or talk or whatever, right? Hulk just passed. It's still fresh. I get it, but people are running with these stories. Hulk Hogan's widow is set to inherit millions as a legal war brews over WWE Legends estate. So like immediately, these are the fucking discussions, right? So Ringside News posts that. Ringside News, like the National Enquirer of the IWC, but hey, Hulk Hogan's widow accused of locking down a $25 million estate within hours of his death. So an estate law expert, June Fredrickson, explained how it works. Even if Sky was left out of his estate and he didn't update his trust since they married, she would still get a spousal elective share, which she is entitled to 30% in Florida. If Brooke is left out of the will, she can contest it. Fredrickson warned, adding that the case would then land in probable court. Sky said that my heart is in pieces. I wasn't ready for this. He had been dealing with some health issues, but I truly believed he would overcome them. I had so much faith in his strength. I thought we still had more time. The loss is sudden and impossible to process. To the world, he was a legend, but to me, he was my Terry, the man I love, my partner, my heart. I don't know, man. Like he got married as like his third wife or something, but I'm not one to say like they seemed happy and shit together. And I don't know. So Bubba the Love Sponge, though, right? This is where the conspiracy comes in. Apparently, like within 6 hours of his death or something. But maybe that's what Hulkster wanted too, because like, and again, we're playing like it's the hot goss. We're spilling the tea, right? Right, girls? Girls in the chat say, hey, say yeah. No. But it's like, maybe Linda's poking around trying to get money still or something, and this is what he wanted. We don't fucking know. It's wild that people are already just writing up these stories, but it was bound to happen. I knew this was going to happen. But Bubba the Love Sponge says, allegedly, so Jade, I think they were they were mad because I knew they were going to start doing stuff like this. This is a report that we got this morning. It says within 6 hours of Hulk Hogan's death, his wife Sky Daly made 3 shocking moves to protect his remaining $25 million estate from outsiders. One. She immediately shut down rumors about Hogan's health and death, denying coma or collapse reports and insisting he was recovering well with a strong heart. 2, she had led the creation of estate trusts, moving Hogan's WWE shares, music rights, real estate, and endorsements into trusts that only she and their children can inherit. 3, she blocked legal claims from estranged about children, Brooke and Nick. There's reportedly $26 million up for grabs, not including another 25 to 30 in real estate. Shouldn't that go to Nick and Brooke and the wife and the grandbabies? Yeah, I agree, but I'm just too dumb to understand what this shit means. Like, what is she? So she made 3 shocking moves. Okay, so she led the creation of estate trust, moving his shares into trust that only she and their children can inherit. I mean, is that a bad thing? I don't know, man. I don't fucking know. I just hope, their kids and grandkids and shit should get it, right? That makes the most sense. And that, ladies and gentlemen, round of applause for Hulk Hogan / WWE conspiracy news. I just can't really comment on all that. It's like, I don't know. It doesn't seem like she's doing anything nefarious, although I did see some people online being like, of course she's doing that and shit. So, hey, what can I say? Let's get into, let me check in with chat, and then we'll get into some AEW news. How about that? Okay, so we'll hang out here with Tony McCon for a second. And let's check in with chat. What's going on in chat here? Chatland. George Capture for 2 says WWE has announced the matches for both nights. I just sent it to you on X. Well, thank you. I just sent it to you on X. Thank you, good sir. I will check that out. So did they do that on SmackDown? It doesn't matter. Okay, I'm going to do a preview show, and I'm excited for what they're serving up. I got to be perfectly honest. Like, at first, I was kind of bum about SummerSlam. I was like, shit, I don't know if I'm really fucking excited for any of this. And then they just, I don't know, like Punk Gunther, that's crazy. You know, it sort of came together in the final weeks here. So I'm looking forward to it. JKG, okay, maybe he did tell her. Why not tell his lawyers? David says Hulk was a businessman. His widow's gonna get hit with that doesn't work for me, brother, in his actual will. She was the last closest person to him in real life. That's what I'm saying. Like, in his life. I'm telling you, y'all probably told her to do that. I'm telling y'all, he probably told her to do that. I don't buy any of it. You know, he had lawyers do that kind of thing. Yeah. Those type of trusts are also made to avoid taxes, similar to Q-tip trusts. Hell yeah. Dropping bars. Hogan's widow did what everyone would do in her position. Yeah, exactly. And it's not like the kids are cut out. Like, if she was trying to cut the kids out and she's like, I'm making an album to express my, you know, I'd be like, okay, what's going on here? But yeah, I just think they seemed happy and great together, just from what I saw and the way he talked about her on all those podcast appearances he was doing and shit. And this week did get down with the sickness. We might get to it tonight. It's more Hulk Hogan, though. We spent a lot of time on that chat. So if you want it, any way you want it, that's the way you need it. Any way you want it. But we'll do some sickos tonight for sure. Speaking of sickos, ladies and gentlemen, let's get an Ichi Nissan Da in chat for AEW news. And an Ichiban Hulk Hogan for the Hulkster. which Tony Khan did not do a graphic or say anything about, and that's because he worked himself into a shoot, brother, and we're about to talk about that in a minute here. But speaking of people talking shit and then looking fucking stupid, Fightful Wrestling reported that Layla Hirsch has been contacted by WWE for a tryout as a referee. Awesome. I quote tweeted that shit and went, great. Not from Fightful because I'm blocked by them, but I'm not allowed to see the news. But I was like, good. She should do this. Don't listen to sickos telling you that this is, because people were like, oh, the grass ain't greener, which like they're not even using that expression correctly. Also, they're saying shit like that's disrespectful. Meanwhile, none of you guys gave a fuck about Layla Hirsch when she was in AEW. And I'm sitting there like, dude, don't miss this opportunity because you could possibly do ref Jessica Carr. That's her name, right? Calix. And you could wrestle on Evolve. You could wrestle on those NXT house shows and put people over. You can give people real advice on shoot wrestling and shit backstage. You are like that. What's her name? Vicky DeErico, that ref who's very pretty, who's a shoot boxer, right? You can be like that. You're a shoot wrestler. That's a perfect role for you. Just be a referee. You'd be awesome in that role. And that could be a great career for you. You get to travel the world, still be in the business, maybe have some matches on Evolve and shit, wear a mask, put some people over. Hey, it's all good. And then, sickos, of course, are shitting all over WWE and everything. Fightful then reports, okay, so they quote tweet their own report and they go, in an update on the story, those in WWE and close to Hirsch say that she contacted WWE to communicate interest in a referee position. The tryout was then approved. So if Fightful is accurate here, okay, if they're reporting real shit, all you sickos look so fucking stupid.
Idiot.
Right? And it was Layla who reached out to WWE with a brilliant idea of, I could be a referee. And all of you clowned her because you don't give a fuck about these wrestlers.
Shut up, bitch.
That's the fucking thing, man. You just want to see flips and dives and get mad about WWE all the time. And yeah, they all just look so stupid. And shout out Fightful for that, like, that addition, just owning the sickos. I think that's hilarious. So Neckbeard said, I can't wait for Tony Khan and AEW's tribute to Hulk Hogan after banning Hogan from AEW. And of course, the sickos will praise Tony for it. So, Linda Hogan said this, watching the looting, it's all Afro-Americans, not sure how robbing and stealing set the record straight, but if they want to be heard, they need to be civilized. What the fuck is this even in reference to? Jesus Christ. So that's a tweet from Linda Hogan, of course, divorced from Hulk Hogan. When she said this, I believe, I hope, I don't fucking know. That lady's a wreck, dude. We did like a 20-minute segment roasting her. And so Tony Khan goes, you've now joined your husband in being banned from all AEW shows. Congratulations. She would never go to an AEW show, Tony. What a weird, weird, cheap, punching down type thing to do to this like mentally deranged alcoholic woman, So anyways, Tony Khan, he didn't show a graphic. AEW didn't put out a tweet or say our condolences, even though when superstar Billy Graham died, they're like, oh, we remember, Billy Graham, like they said it on commentary quick. Shivani brought up Hulk quickly. Tony didn't like that, like Tony Khan. And it's because he worked himself into a shoot. Now he wishes he could. He wishes he could say, oh, we remember the icon and show a picture of Ichiban Hulk Hogan fucking with Inoki. That Tony Khan wishes. He wishes he could do a Hulk Hogan, an Ichiban Hulk Hogan Memorial Battle Royal at Wrestle Dream. He wishes he could do that, but he talks shit and he did this like, you guys are banned. Right? So now, again, like Chelsea Green, he gets attacked by the sickos if he does do it. And the wackos. He's damned if he does, damned if he doesn't. If he puts up a graphic, he gets attacked by sickos for like, why did you do that? And then he gets attacked by wackos for being like, Hogan had nothing to do with AEW, blah, blah, blah. Right? But if he doesn't do it, then sickos are freaking out like he shouldn't do it. Like they're already freaking out anyways. And then the wackos are attacking him regardless, going, he's a disgusting man. Like he should do this. I've seen all types of shit about Tony Khan out there. He should do this. He's a coward. He's spineless. He doesn't love wrestling. Like he fucking all these things I've seen tweeted about him. And he's damned if he does, damned if he doesn't. Ultimately. And Tony Khan was for sure a little Hulkster at one point in his life. That's irrefutable, man. Everybody is. And yeah, if he does it, then he gets attacked. And if he doesn't do it, he gets attacked. It's a lose-lose for Tony Khan. I tweeted that out. And he shouldn't even. I think just him being silenced the way to go. Because if he does tweet some shit out about it, then he looks like a hypocrite, and everyone like Meltzer. Meltzer like shitting on Hogan too pretty much already. He's like, he didn't save wrestling. He saved the Fed maybe, but not wrestling. Meanwhile, Dave Meltzer, I almost guarantee someone will dig up a quote of him saying or liking or retweeting someone saying Tony Khan saved wrestling in 2019. But to think that is true, but Hulkster, what he did isn't greater. Hulkster doesn't have a greater impact than Tony Khan is crazy. And I know Dave's going to go that route. I also think Dave is responding to my tweets through other sickos. Okay. I think he is. It's just the flutes have been in his face way too long at this point. And I've put a couple tweets out there to where I've seen him respond to other people that are saying something along the lines of what I'm saying, and then he just has to go off on it. And then it's giving me fuel for my goddamn show. It's like way too funny. It's like almost too coincidental. So maybe that's just conspiracy, Phil, and I'm looking too deep into it, but I swear that's what he's doing. Like he had to have seen the fake Blue Sky account of him that's like, I play flutes, I listen to PWT, and he quote tweeted it and responded to it. Like I put out a tweet the other day saying Dave, it would be the crazy guy outside of the Circle K that you give change to if it wasn't for wrestling. Then he goes on this long diatribe about like, I would be like, my greatness would prevail like in so many other categories if I didn't do wrestling or whatever. Meanwhile, he can't even say he calls Patrick Mahomes Patrick Mahones and Cuervo, right? Can't even get names right. He's such a dumb fuck. So he's just losing his mind and his narcissism seeping through, and it's just fucking hilarious. And I don't even really know how we got on the topic of Dave, but anyways, Sami Zayn had this to say about Kenny Omega, right? So someone posts, Drain Bamager says, this is the anniversary of 14 years ago today. Kenny Omega wrestled the 9-year-old girl Haruka, was a member of Stardom's inaugural training class. One of the best things you will ever see in wrestling. And this is what's wild about Kenny Omega and all these sickos trying to jump on Rossi Ogawa when it's like, you all are okay with them trading little fucking girls. Kenny, you even wrestled one of them. So like, don't even fucking talk to anyone about or imply anything when it comes to Rossi or anyone. So you guys remember this. He wrestled a kid, right? "14 years ago today, Jim Cornette fucking realized his feud with Kenny Omega would be everlasting." And then Sami Zayn said, one of Kenny's finest, truly brilliant. I don't know, man. I don't know how brilliant that is. Drunk uncles do that on trampolines, wrestle their nephews and shit. You know what I mean, dude? I don't know if it's that impressive. It's a full-grown man wrestling a little girl. So Hulk Hogan, the greatest of all. This is what Sting had to say. Can't thank you enough for all that you did for me and for wrestling fans all over the world. I love you and I will miss you, my friend Terry Bollea, R.I.P. And Tony Khan can't do shit about this. Right? You can't say anything about him doing that. So AEW Dynamite scored a 608,000. NXT did a 747,000. If you guys are on the member show, you guys know we got sent this meme. And I dropped it in the Discord, and I guess Awful got it somewhere down the line and made a video out of it. Yeah, it's pretty bad, man. 608,000, and then NXT popped a huge number. And I mean, they're 2 weeks removed from All in Texas, B. You think it would be, things are turning around, you know? You think it would be better than that. AEW did 608K, 0.14, third in hour 1 behind MLB and Fox News, second in hour 2 behind MLB, lower end in 18 to 49. More details in the issue. Fox News is like 5 shows, by the way. AEW Dynamite garnered. So here's what the real tweet should be, okay? Because Raj Giri does this exact same tweet. We cover it here all the time. If it's Raw, SmackDown, AEW, doesn't matter. He does this exact same tweet, whether it's good or bad. He just tweets out what the facts are. So this is what Dave thinks he's doing, but really he's a shilling loser who owns 3% of the company now. How could I be a loser? We're making money this year. Oh, I mean, Tony Khan's making money this year. Raj Giri says AEW Dynamite garnered its second lowest 18 to 49 rating of the year, although the audience was up slightly from last week. Dynamite averaged 608 viewers, up 3% from last week, with a 0.14 in the 18 to 49, down 7%. Per Programming Insider, as always, these numbers do not include the Max simulcast. Year over year, Dynamite was down 23% in total viewers, while the 18 to 49 rating was down 46%. Whoa. So Matt Jackson, one of the Young Bucks, had this to say on Instagram. He said, would never have been a wrestler if I didn't watch the Hulkster. Always so kind to me and my family. Made videos for my son that we'll cherish forever. So gracious, even when nobody was watching. So I wonder what sickos are jumping down fucking Matt Jackson's throat, you know? AEW star Leo Rush says he is not going to jump in on the hate train in regards to Hulk Hogan's death. So there you go, man. Like the AEW roster staying super classy, the ones who are willing to speak up. Speaking of classy, Blue Panther comments on Danielson wearing his mask at AEW All in Texas. He says it was impressive because it got viral. I got calls and messages from a lot of people, and now they're saying I have 4 kids. I was like, hold on, it's 3. And they responded with, no, it's 4, just like Blue Panther Jr., Hio de Blue Panther, and Dark Panther. With all respect to Danielson, he's not my son. He's my idol. Damn. Fighting as a tag team with him here at Arena Mexico would be a dream come true. The option and the possibility are open. It would be a matter of speaking with my immediate superiors, and through all of you, they would listen to this request. Damn, so huge praise from a legend to Danielson. Speaking of huge praise, Will Washington says, my relationship with Hulk Hogan is complicated because I was a big Hulkamaniac as a kid, and I mourned that relationship a decade ago. Still, his legacy in pro wrestling is undeniable. He shaped an era, and he took the business to unimaginable heights. So Washington staying classy there. Good to see. Stay classy, San Diego. So they announced a tournament bracket, but they had no one like in there. All we knew is that it was blank, 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 but then FTR beat Jet Speed and advanced before we even heard the rest of the participants. Tony Khan's got to stop doing that. Like, he can't even book a fucking tournament properly. It's so shitty, man. I don't know why he doesn't understand how fucking bad and poorly booked that, like how shittily that comes across when he does that. So Wrestle Purist tweets out, according to those spoken to, they haven't heard that Jay White is, and this is according to Fightful, I guess, heard that Jay White is close to a return from injury. In fact, they've heard the opposite. White has also been dealing with a shoulder injury on top of his hand injury. Sources in AEW have said that White had been weighing whether or not to get shoulder surgery, though it hasn't been said if that decision was made. If so, it's possible he'd miss the rest of the year. That fucking sucks, dude. Get healthy. The Bang Bang Gang, I think Juice and like Austin Gunn are teaming up. I don't know why the Gun Bros are still in AEW, dude. Obviously, they have contracts, so that would be why, but they need to get the fuck out of there as quick as they can already. Like, enough. Adam Copeland pays a heartfelt tribute to Hulk Hogan. So Edge had this to say. He said, "Oh, as a kid, he made me believe I could catch my dreams, you know? What a gift. He then helped me catch some of them. He was the inspiration that made me believe I could be a wrestler, forever changing the course of my life. He was the hero I needed at a pivotal time in my development. Oh, thanks, Terry. I'll miss you and our talks. Love you, brother." So there you go. Staying classy, the Rated R Superstar. I remember when they won the tag belts and fought the Un-Americans and shit. So AEW's viewership on HBO Max declined during the NBA and NHL playoffs. Viewership on the streaming platform is concentrated in the 18 to 49 demographic per the Observer, but HBO Max's main key demo is like 25 to 50, whatever the fuck, I thought. Like, that's publicly been out there. We can, I am fairly certain we brought that to the show. Okay. So I just think Dave, we can't trust anything he says about that shit, but at least he admits their viewership was low at some point in time. For once, you know. MJF says Seth Rollins will go down as one of the greatest in WWE history. He says Seth Rollins is a freak of nature. He's going to go down as one of the greatest faces in the history of the company, the same way I'm going to go down as one of the biggest faces in the history of my company. When you think of these promotions, when you think of WWE, you think Seth. When you think of AEW, you think me. I find him to be extraordinarily talented. I feel horrible about his knee. It sucks. Yeah, MJF, dude, he's definitely going to slap Tony in the face when he goes to WWE one day. And I just wonder how Tony's going to deal with that. I think that will be such a dagger in the heart to AEW. And I think Tony will just fall apart, dude. So here's Deonna Purrazzo. She's at the Celebrity Poker Tour. Chips.
Go ahead.
You know, doing everything but wrestling on Dynamite there, and that's not a shot at her. So here's the full bracket. So Tony did reveal the bracket. So before the bracket was revealed, though, the brackets rather, FTR already advanced to the semifinals. So like, what? But the Bang Bang Gang versus Big Bill and Brian Keith. And then we have the Outrunners versus the Young Bucks and Gates of Agony versus Bro Dito. So FTR versus the Bucks, like what do you get out of this, man? Tag team title eliminator tournament. Tony just goes to fucking casino gauntlets tournaments. That's all he has. He has no creative anything. And here's what JD had to say about Tony Khan. And we'll talk about it. JD talked about Pro Wrestle Times on his show. And it popped me so hard, guys. I think it's in the sicko segment, so we'll have to do it there. But I love what he said. He's like, I think your impression's more Andrew Dice Clay. You're not even doing it right. And it's like, JD, it evolved, right? Like, it's a bit, he doesn't know. I don't expect him to know, but it's like, no, dude, you'd get it if you like, you weren't always Dice, bro. It evolved to that. First you were over there, now you're over here now. But you know, so let's hear what he has to say about Tony Khan. Here's his rant, and I thought he was cooking here. So we're gonna play some JD.
AEW hasn't said a fucking word about Hulk Hogan. Not one single tweet from the official AEW account, not one single tweet from Tony Khan. Not one mention of Hulk Hogan at all. Matt and Nick Jackson said something about Hulk Hogan. Sting said something about Hulk Hogan.
I love, did Nick Jackson say anything, or is it just like they get lumped together? Lumped together like two clumps of shit. No. Shout out the Bucks for being classy about that, though. For real. And they need to get back to their goddamn roots, man. We need to make the Young Bucks great again. No.
Those are the only two that I've seen publicly. Where's everybody else? Where is everyone else?
In fairness, no one has to say shit if they don't want to.
Have you guys figured it out yet? Have you guys figured it out yet? What have I been saying for years? Tony is basically just Vince McMahon Jr. without the sexual allegations.
Well, that's pretty harsh, but yeah, he is Tony McCon. Tony McCon. I've been saying it too, brother.
The man has struck so much fear in that company that they can't even respect the fucking dead. I haven't said anything on social media about it yet because I'm waiting to see what they do tomorrow. If they throw up a fucking graphic, if they do something in regards to mentioning his name tomorrow night on Collision. But the simple fact of the matter is everybody else in the fucking industry has said something about Hulk Hogan. TNA did something on Impact last night live in regards to Hulk Hogan.
Even fucking Billy Corgan's out here. Fucking, let me ask you a question, Billy.
If you are a pro wrestler, you should have at least acknowledged the importance of what Hulk Hogan has done for this business. AEW has not said a fucking word. Adam Copeland said something about Hulk Hogan. I didn't see it.
Yeah. Fair enough, though. You brought it up. Oh, man. I was going to do a dice line there, but it's just, he just popped me with what he said. Adam Copeland said, well, fuck it. I guess. Well, I guess that's one. Okay. So we got one fucking guy over.
That makes three. Do you know how disgusting that is? Do you know how awful that is? Again, Tony has backed himself into a corner because he can't do the human thing and pay respects to someone who paved the way for legitimately everybody in this fucking sport.
Yeah, that's what I said too. I put a tweet out right away. Like I saw some people jumping on him and right away, like not to defend Tony, but it's like, he's damned if he does or damned if he doesn't. I would just shut the fuck up. You know, whenever that's the case, just focus on your work. Don't even just, you know, because I explained it already. Let's hear JD's take on it. He's coming to the same conclusion here, clearly. Oh, Little Boy Blue, meanie. He was a parody. Oh,
because if he bends a knee to the fucking right thing to do, the sickos aren't going to really be all that thrilled. He's got to cater to his fan base. He's got to cater to the woke AEW fan base. That's why that fan base is so fucking diseased. They got a couple of screws loose.
And down with the sickness.
Worst fan base in the history of sports as long as I've been alive is that fan base. You can't do or say anything without getting fucking canceled. There would not be an AEW without Hulk Hogan. The same guy that was on the network that they call home, who beat WWF for 83 fucking weeks. Yeah, that Hulk Hogan.
First he was over there in WWF. Now he's over here now.
It wouldn't be
with Sting. Oh.
A Warner
Sting, better get that checked.
Sports for pro wrestling without Hulk Hogan. Show the man some fucking respect. Honor his legacy, honor his influence, and do the right fucking thing. How fucking pathetic.
He is cooking, though. He's spitting.
The network that they call home would not be in the pro wrestling business without Terry Bollea. So fucking show the man some goddamn respect.
Yes. Oh, man. And JD just went off there. Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. That was all in the chat together now, actually. Ichi Nissan Da. That was AEW news, ladies and gentlemen.
Wrestling's not fake!
Chat, should I check in with chat or what? Should I check in with you guys? Oh, so let me yes, we will do that. What do we do next? What do we do next today? Oh boy. We'll do yeah, okay, I know what we're gonna do. We're doing the show backwards. That was the intro today, ladies and gentlemen. All right, that was the intro for today's show. And we will put the immortal there in cartoon form on the screen for you all there. Let's check in. TK is an Iron Sheik fan, so I'm unsubbing from JD's channel now. Oh my god. No, don't do that. Don't unsub from him, dude. It's all good. So not quite true. Hogan was working for WWF, not WCW when they started on Turner. Right, but the point he's making is that he went there and put WWF on their back foot. Like they were getting better ratings when Hogan was there. When they were already on Turner, they weren't. Like his turn and shit had a lot to do with that. You know what I mean? I think that's what he was getting to, but he was just going off, I know Rachel Ellering. Anyone recognize the other two? I feel dirty agreeing with JD. It's like when Alex Jones starts spitting, and I agree. You tell him, JD. JD is out his mind. JD cooked last night. Collision is live tonight, so it wasn't recorded on Thursday. He needed the money. Yeah. So Shivani did acknowledge Hogan. Yeah, no, he just briefly said it on commentary, dude, in passing. So that doesn't count, right? That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about, like, just at least acknowledging, his footprint on the industry, especially when your whole shit is we're copying Nitro and all this stuff. You're literally copying the aesthetic for the logo of Collision and all this shit. And then you're taking victory laps when you do more episodes of a show than another fucking show. Okay. Let's get into, ladies and gentlemen, some miscellaneous news.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
So Frank Mir's daughter. So Frank Mir is a former UFC heavyweight champion, infamously tapped out Brock Lesnar in his second match in the UFC, caught him in like a knee bar. And Brock was very much green at that time. And Frank Mir's jiu-jitsu was on a whole other level. And then Brock fought his way back up to the title, won the title, and fought Mir in a rematch famously at UFC 100, battered the shit out of Frank Mir. And the two haven't really liked each other ever since. And so Frank Mir's daughter, Bella Mir, who has been training in MMA, wants to fight Brock Lesnar's daughter, Maya Lesnar, to finish their father's trilogy. Now, I'm totally here for that, Eric.
Oh, come on now, Eric.
We could host it at StarCast. I'm the mortgage guy. Dude, that would make fucking money. And that would be an awesome fight. And I don't think Maya trains in wrestling or how to fight or anything like that. So that's the problem, is that Bella has way more of an advantage. But much like Brock versus Mir, the physical attributes of Maya might usurp the years of like being on the mats that Bella has. You guys know what I'm saying? And that's what happened with Brock and Mir as well. So, hey, dude, I'd pay money to see this fight. I'm not even joking. This is like neither of them are in WWE or anything, but this is like, oh, hell yeah. I'm that old now. Shit, So I'm here for this one, Eric. Moving along here, Paul Walter Hauser, MLW posted, Hollywood actor Paul Walter Hauser was on Jimmy Kimmel Live last night to talk about his upcoming films, Fantastic Four and Naked Gun. Dude, this guy's in everything, and he's a great actor. I saw Fantastic Four as well. I didn't tell you guys. Well, if you follow me on Phil Marks Out, you would know that. But I saw Fantastic Four as well. And he was awesome in it. He was funny for the little bit. He was just in it like a little bit, but you can tell that he may have like a role going forward, you know, in some capacity. And so he's in Naked Gun as well, which I cannot wait for. The trailer, I watched one trailer and I went, okay, they won me over. Like, I was so scared about this movie. The Naked Gun trilogy, those are 3 of my favorite comedy movies of all time. Airplane as well. Airplane 1 especially. Leslie Nielsen. I'm just a huge Leslie Nielsen mark. And so I was so scared when they're like, Naked Gun's coming out. But I watched the first trailer they dropped and I went, I'm here for this. I'm down. I'm going to check it out. But Paul Walter Hauser, he played Mole Man. Okay. And they had Subterranea. Which again, that's not like a spoiler. It's just maybe, I don't know. I'm sure Mole Man, where the fuck is he? If you guys know the comics, you just Google Mole Man. The second thing that'll come up is Subterranea. Right. And so that's about all I'll say. But that Fantastic Four movie is fucking fantastic. It is really goddamn good. And again, there was all this faux outrage about like Susan Storm's going to be the leader and all this stupid shit. It's a really good fucking movie, man. And so anyways, though, let's take a look. He's on Jimmy Kimmel talking about his involvement in Major League Wrestling. And he was wearing his like Progress World title or whatever fucking league he wrestles for. I think Progress. He was wearing that title on the blue carpet for Fantastic Four.
I tell people I learned something new about you, that not only are you an actor, but apparently you are a pro wrestler. Did you guys know this? Yeah. How did that happen? Did you lose a bet?
Yeah, and I am not a Pedro Pascal fan, by the way. Like, I have Pedro Pascal fatigue, you know? He's so good as Reed Richards in the movie. And a lot of people are like, he's terrible as Reed Richards. No, he's fucking not. You're just triggered that he's got a mustache. He played it so well. You know, he plays it like super, whatever. You guys go watch the movie, discern for yourself. It's subjective, you know, but I thought the movie fucking ruled, dude. Superhero movies are back now because everyone's done with like the garbage they've been pushing out for fucking the last 5 years, you know? And it's shitty. I know a lot of the internet, like, they make their living just shitting on every fucking movie. So it hurts their bottom line to be like, this was actually good. But I love comic books and I love comic book movies. And so I want them to be fucking great. And I think Fantastic Four was awesome. Now, if space movies, like, here's the thing. Some people grew up and they're not really into Star Trek and Star Wars and that sort of shit. If that's not your cup of tea, like if Guardians of the Galaxy isn't your cup of tea, okay, that's what Fantastic Four is. Everyone needs to understand that. They are like, they'll just jump in a jet and go to space and fucking go to another planet and help it. Like, that's what they do in the books and shit, right? So it's very much not even very, there's a lot of that in it. So it's like, if that's not your cup of tea, then I don't know, maybe you don't like it as much as like some other flicks. Like, you might like Thunderbolts more. Like, some people like the actions, but I thought Thunderbolts was great too, man. Superman ruled. Everything's awesome. I'm going to do a review over at Phil Marks Out channel, and shout out to everyone who checked out my review of Superman, by the way. I really enjoyed making that video.
Like, I'm sorry, the clap was mild. It was
they were like
maybe.
They don't believe me. They don't believe me.
I've loved professional wrestling my whole life. I wear it on my sleeve. I love it so much. And these independent wrestling circuits were like, hey, you should come to a show. And then this guy, Court Bauer, was like, you should.
Yeah, someone said even Critical Drinker put the movie over. Exactly, because I appreciate his honesty, because it's like, he could easily just, the easy thing is just to be like, this is all woke and gay. Like, I kind of make fun of that shit in my Phil Marks Out channel. If you guys are, you know, it's the easy thing to just be like, this shit all sucks. All these comic book movies are fucked because Disney does. But then when they're good, it's like, well, what now? You know, like, these ones fucking ruled. So what, are we just going to cry because like, oh, Reed Richards had a mustache and he doesn't in the books? Like, okay, fucking cry about it. I got such dumb shit, you know?
Come wrestle and produce for my company, Major League Wrestling, MLW. So I've been acting and producing and directing segments for them and having the time of my life.
That's amazing.
So he's working behind the scenes in wrestling for MLW too, and let's be honest, they've been on a solid run. Like,
Do you have the clip? Did they give
Yeah,
you the clip?
we actually have a clip.
You see it?
Look at this.
So my buddy O'Shea Jackson Jr. shot this clip and sent it to me, and we put it online so people could see it. Slow mo.
Hey! Oh my gosh! Come on now!
That was fun.
That's good. I have a one piece like that I also rock.
Girl.
and guys, that's Fortune Feemster. She's like a comedian. She's in movies. I'm trying to think of one. I can't even think of one off the top of my head, but she's beloved in the industry. Like people, and she's funny, you know. Like I'm not the biggest fan of her stand up, but I get it, you know. And she's in a few flicks or whatever, and it's just part of this, like, get people to guest host. Like Jelly Roll was guest hosting Kimmel or the Tonight Show or whatever the fuck as well. Sometimes celebrities just they swap out, you know, and someone will come host their show for that night, or they'll do a week of like celebrity guest hosts or whatever.
Tag team energy right here.
Come on, yeah.
Tag team right
I think
here.
that's the next match.
Hollywood Hustle. Yeah, that's our tag team name.
So yeah, I like that Walter Hauser's like taking these indie feds and like blowing them up on this big Hollywood platform, you know? It's not just WWE or AEW. It's you know, we're seeing like MLW get its shine and stuff like that too. So Wrestle Talk posted that at the Orlando Summer International Open 2025. So I think this is the IBJJF Jiu-Jitsu Championships, okay? Now Corbin, a purple belt, coming in first again. I believe this is his third event we've covered where he's coming first. So a big congratulations to former WWE star Bishop Dyer, Baron Corbin, who won 2 gold medals at the Orlando Summer International Open Jiu-Jitsu Championships. And he's crushing it, man. AJ Lee, or pardon me, speaking of crushing it in the Fantastic Four, UK independent wrestler Charles Crowley has revealed that he helped portray the Thing in Fantastic Four First Steps. So take a look at that. Now, I loved in the movie Thing, like in both the versions of Fantastic Four we got before, like the big budget Fantastic Fours that we got before, it was more like he's emo and depressed, and it's the dark side of being Thing, and he really wants to change and look normal and shit. And we do get that side of Ben Grimm. That is still present in this, but it's showing us like it's established, like you're established in this world with the Fantastic Four already. And so, because as much as that is an aspect of Thing's character in the comics, there's so much more to him, right? And you do get these moments in the books and shit where he's just walking around like wearing a tie, like you see right here, and just like interacting with kids on the street and shit, or just like he's a normal guy. Hey, Ben, you know? And so they're like the world famous Fantastic Four, right? And so it was cool to see that be not the main aspect of his character, but like a subtle aspect this time around, right? Because we're talking, it's like a new interpretation. You guys want to watch the same fucking movies? Oh, Superman wasn't Donner's Superman. Go watch fucking Donner's Superman then. I don't know what you want. You don't want like fresh takes on characters and shit. You know, you don't have to completely butcher them and shit like that, but you know, just maybe not even tweaking, just like focusing on this maybe aspect of Thing's characteristics more than the other ones that relied on, hey, he's like kind of emo and hates himself when he looks in the mirror. And there is aspects of that. They don't abandon that, but I'm just saying, like, I love the scenes where he's just walking around town and, hey, kids, and, you know, they're like, lift that car and shit. It's in the trailer. You can see it. I'm not spoiling shit, but it's just like him walking around interacting with people in his city, you know? But anyways, so Richard Scalver said that I can finally announce that after 5 auditions, the last being in front of the director, his accent coach, and his movement coach, I managed to end up in this absolutely epic suit helping portray the Thing in Fantastic Four. For 7 months, I sat in the tent next to the leads and got to pick their brains. I got to do performance passes alongside elite level actors. Elite! I aided the mocap and VFX. I met immensely talented people, and the coolest thing of all is that I got to be a part of a Make-A-Wish, which is something I will truly never forget. Insane experience, learned tons. and to embody the thing and help bring him to life was an absolute honor. Was real hot in there, though. Yeah. Shout this dude out. What a class act as well. His biggest takeaway was the Make-A-Wish, probably in the Thing suit. That's spectacular. AJ Lee says she misses having a direct connection with wrestling fans every week. It's going to happen like one time. Here's what Mike Johnson did from PW Insider. Now, Mike Johnson like fucking snapped on me. I have so many people that I'm like buddies with and I'm cool with and shit who love Mike Johnson and just say he's a great guy. And I've never had a personal, I don't know him personally. I never had a personal beef, but he snapped on me for making a joke because PWI, just to refresh everyone's brains, there was a day where PWI like had gotten or there was like a week where they had gotten like one or two stories wrong, like just for sure wrong. Right. And they kind of look silly and that's fine. That happens. Like none of these dirt sheets are going to be 100% all the time. But they had gotten like one thing big kind of wrong, I think about Bailey or something like that. And people kind of jumped on them and lumped them in as like, oh, you guys just make shit up, da-da-da-da-da. And then like a week, like later that week, there was some post that was posted. I forget what it was. I covered it on the show already, so go back in time. But there was some post that someone like Wrestle Purists misquoted and tweeted out there, and then they corrected themselves. But there was like the two stories floating out there that contradicted themselves, both being attributed to PWI. And I made a fucking quote tweet saying, or I put out a tweet like, damn, PWI's fucking up lately. What's going on? With like, I think like a crazy guy emoji or a winky face emoji even. Like I was clearly just being sarcastic. Whatever. Mike Johnson responded to me. He's like, maybe try actually reading the article, then blocked me on PWI shit. And I was like, well, I can't now, you know, so go fuck yourself was kind of my response. And again, I was just kidding, but it's all good. Like, I don't expect him to know my humor. Maybe he's just having a bad day. But yeah, here is Eric Bischoff putting Mike Johnson over. You had a bad day. You got mad at PWT. You hit the block button.
So
we can't see.
Thursday morning, Las Vegas time, I get a text from a good man, Mike Johnson, PW Insider. And Mike sent me a text. He said, hey, just giving you a heads up. Mike said, I'm not going to run with this story because it's not confirmed, which is why I have so much freaking respect for Mike Johnson and PW Insider as well, Dave Shear. But he said, I'm not going to run with
Mike Johnson, I thought it was yours.
Story, but here's what I'm hearing is going on. Again, I was down at Starbucks waiting for them to open so I could get a cup of coffee, and I get this text. And I go back up to my room. I thought, okay, I'm going to track this down. I thought I'd call Nick, Hulk's son, and get a read on what was happening, see if anything was serious. So I put my key card in the room, walked in the room, and of course, I have the television on as background noise, probably 24/7, and it was on Fox News. So I walk into my room, I sit down on my bed, I pull out my phone, start to dial Nick, and then Fox News broke the story. And they used a clip from an interview that Hulk and I did on Fox and Friends. I think it was on May 1st, whatever the date was, a couple weeks ago, a month ago, whatever. And that's how I found out. And from that point forward, I've either been on my phone, on text, or shooting interviews with Chael and Bubba. We got done with that, got home last night, and it's finally now sinking in, but it's surreal, man. It's not just, in my case, losing one of my best friends. That's a big enough deal, but everywhere I look for the last 2 days, it's Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, and we had watched the rest of that clip earlier in the show, so make sure you go check that out. Our condolences to, the Hulk Hogan, the Balea family, brother, and the Bischoffs, of course. Sonia Deville says that the Pure Fusion Collective faction name was terrible. It was El Terrible, and who can blame her for thinking that? In our last bit of miscellaneous news, JD listens to Phil Marks confirm. So here's him talking about PWT, which I just thought was fantastic. And for some reason, it's just not loading well, which is great. Way to fuck up the show here. Here, we'll get it going. But yeah, so here's him. I don't know why I didn't put this in sickos and wackos, to be honest. This should be a sicko segment. But yeah, so here is JD talking about PWT confirmed on his show. And let's take a listen. This shit doesn't want to play. What the fuck? It's a cursed vid. It's like it didn't happen. I have no idea why it doesn't want to play. But this match of Kenny Omega wrestling a guy in his backyard will play. But this one will not play. Let's see. We're figuring this out live, pal. It doesn't want it to be known, dude. Here, we'll get it playing. I don't know what the fuck is going on, dude. I'm trying to get it playing on this other screen here, too. I can't do it. Huh. Well, it's killing the bit, man. It's killing the segment. What the fuck? For shame. Okay, so AEW did acknowledge the passing of Hulk Hogan. So we will definitely see. They just did it like in passing, though. So we'll check that out here on the show briefly. Yeah, there's for some reason I can't get this thing to fucking play. I have no idea. The Illuminati's like, dude, you can't play this shit today for some reason. Maybe it's for the better. Oh, so basically he said that he just at the end, he's like, you listening to this fucking Pro Wrestle Times? And then he does Andrew Dice Clay, bro. He does it. He's like, oh, Mary, quite contrary. And I just fucking died laughing. I was so sad about Hulk Hogan until I was sent this clip. And I fucking died laughing. I was like, oh my God, he did Dice. And so I just wrote this tweet. And then he's like, but he's smiling and chuckling. And he's like, you're doing it wrong. I sound more like Dice. That's not my bro. Well, it started. Let me read what I wrote. JD listens to Phil Marks confirmed. I love how he does Dice too. Absolute gold. I'll find the joke in almost anything. I do voices and impressions of everyone. It's never personal. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery or some such bullshit. And then I also went on to write that. Oh, here we go. Let's listen.
Like Enzo Amore or Andrew Dice Clay. Oh! Mary, quite contrary. From that bush, it's so damn hairy. Oh!
See, he's laughing, dude. He loves it. Listen. He brings up PWT.
By the way, you guys watch what's his name? Pro Wrestling Times is his name?
It's Pro Wrestle Times, good sir. No.
Man, he's got an awful JD impersonation, man. I think he's more Dice than he is me.
Right, that's the bit, JD. I'm over here now. Oh, you're killing me. You're breaking my balls. How could you do this? I thought we was friends. Yeah, it's the bit. I wrote it down here too. Well, let's listen. Let's listen to this.
Like, you got it all wrong, bro.
It's so funny. You got it all wrong, bro. It's more like Dice. Yeah, it's a Dice bit, right? So I wrote, it's supposed to be more Dice, by the way. That's the bit. It evolved into Dice over time. Made him chuckle, though. He knows it's funny as fuck. Because it is funny as fuck. And it's like Tony Khan. Tony Khan wasn't fucking Mickey Mouse. It evolved into that over time. And now he's kind of like a frantic Mickey Mouse whose like a voice will cut in and out and stuff, right? So with JD. If you're listening in, JD, if you're over here now, bro, it's it evolved into Dice Clay, and I think it's funnier that way because it's so outlandish, right? But I could do the fucking, what is it, like a fucking cocktail? Let me ask you, okay? You know, I used to do it that way. So shout you out. Thank you for shouting out my show. I appreciate it. And yeah, I got plenty more where that came from. Ooh, good. We should link up sometime, make some content. Make some fucking content. Nobody's got fucking content. That's Joey Diaz. Is that a good one? No, maybe not. And that, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to keep that one in the bookmarks. That, ladies and gentlemen, is miscellaneous news.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
Saying Phil Marks doesn't have any fucking content. Who the fuck are you? The Gargini brothers. Okay, so let's just go over here. This is just like a side note in tonight's show, I suppose, right? You have to say cocksucker when you talk like Joey. Yeah, that's the crossover we need. Yeah, I'm here for it, dude. I don't fuck. People think I hate on JD. I don't. I just do what he does. I just have hot takes and I give my thoughts on shit. It's that simple. But he called it out. He said, "Yo, the impression's wrong." So clearly now you guys have to send this clip of me saying, "No, it's not, cocksucker." It's actually right. Now you're Joey Coco now. No. No, but that's the bit. It evolved into that, and clearly he's looking for the response. So there it is. And yeah, and I see you, JD. I see you, bro. And he's posting cool shit. Like he's like, dude, I have like, he's a good measuring stick as far as like, I've always said it since the beginning. I look at someone like JD and I get inspired. I'm like, oh shit, I could have that many subs and shit one day, you know? So I never knock the man's hustle. And I see him post shit like, dude, we had a 53-minute retention rate. And then I go and look at ours and PWT, we're putting up like 26, 27-minute retention rates on some of these streams. And I'm like, fuck, dude, halfway there. I've only been at it for how long? Like, I don't even got 7K subs yet on my fucking channel. Like, we're doing pretty goddamn good then, if that's, you know. So it's good. Yeah, it's good. I would link up with them in a heartbeat and do fucking content for sure. Anybody in the IWC, really, especially if they can just like go with the flow and just have fun. That's more my thing. Are you able to just talk honestly and just talk shit and stuff? I think that's the way about it. But 62642 says PWT drinking some drinking game if the camera is Phil's all-time fave. I have no idea what you're saying, bro. I think you're playing drinking games tonight. 626 is lit. Drink if the camera is Phil's all-time fave. George Capture 102 likes in PWT chat. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that can only mean one thing. And ladies and gentlemen, joining us on the show to celebrate and mourn the passing of Hulk Hogan, the one and only Chris Jericho.
I look and see it's not just me. So many others have stood where I stand. We are the young, so raise your hand. They call us problem child. We spent our lives on trial. We walk an endless mile. We are the youth gone wild. We stand and we won't fall. We're one and one for all. The writing's on the wall. We are the youth gone wild. Let me get wild. Yo!
Right on, guys. Excellent. So I want to play you guys round of applause for getting to over 100 likes on the Clips channel. And yeah, I don't want to be shilling and plugging a lot tonight. Just felt weird, especially at the start with the Hulkster stuff. So I'll do it now. You guys can become a member for 99 cents. You can give memberships. You get access to my Monday bonus show if you guys like my content. Okay, that's what I'll shill today. And thank you for getting to over 100 likes. Helps the algorithm and shit. Helps push the video out there in the stream and stuff. So round of applause for you guys. Thank you. Okay, so we're getting some chats in here. Let's check in with you guys. Hank Garfield became a new member. Awesome. Thank you, brother. And enjoy your access to Monday bonus shows there. 626 for 2 says every movie is your all-time fave. No. What movies did I say were my all-time fave? I think Superman was really good. I really liked it. Personally, I think I'm a big like the Donner films, or like just the original one, Superman 2. I love those ones. I really like Man of Steel. I always said that movie was just incredibly underrated. And but I really liked Superman, but it's not my all-time favorite movie. I think Fantastic Four is one of the best comic book movies of all time, comic book adaptation movies. Like if you're a guy if you're someone rather who likes vibrant colors and like comic book accurate suits and all that sort of shit, that movie is fucking brilliant in that department. But it's not my all-time fave. Nothing will usurp like Iron Man and Endgame, Infinity War for me. I'm also a big Nolan Batman trilogy guy. I know a lot of people boo on that now, that it's cool too, but those movies fucking rule. Those are some of my favorite. But yeah, I wouldn't say every movie's my all-time favorite. But you always say it's your all-time fave, Bebe's Kids. I mean, that is one of my fucking favorite movies, dude. So here we go. Here is we'll make a list. Start making a fucking list of all of my all-time faves that I say is my all-time.
You just made the list.
I mean, start keeping track. Bebe's Kids, one of my all-time fave animated films for sure. Like without question. That's like one of my, like, when I think back on that movie, dude, and I watched it like religiously as a kid. It was one of those fucking movies like I would just throw on as like comfort, Anyways, though, only fitting AEW acknowledging the death of Hulk Hogan is done by none other than Tony Schiavone. So let's check this out here.
Fans, we appreciate you being with us here on Collision each and every Wednesday or each and every Saturday. Don't forget, Thursday will be Collision coming up live next week. And it was quite a week for all of us who have been in professional wrestling for a long time with the unexpected death of Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan was the man who brought
Yeah, good. I want the list.
professional wrestling into the mainstream in the 80s and in the 90s, right here on this network, right here on TNT. Almost 30 years ago, Hulk Hogan lit the fire that began the Monday Night Wars. And he also put WCW on the cable TV.
I wonder if fucking like Tony Khan on the fly was like, oh, quickly say this. Like, I wonder if that's what he did.
Right here on TNT. Sometimes we take a look at these stars that are bigger than life, and we forget that they are just like us human. And we forget they have families that care about them. Our condolences go out to Hulk's family, his children, Brooke and Nick, his wife, Sky. And if you've never lost a member of your family, you have no idea what the pain they are going through right now. And believe you me, it is intense. From all of us here at All Elite Wrestling, RIP, brother.
Classy. I'm glad they did that. And yeah, just the worst section and just the internet in general are these people who pretend like they're infallible, they're perfect, they're immaculate beings who've never swore, sinned, who've never fucking cheated or lied or done something that they go, fuck, man, I just shouldn't have did that or whatever. There's varying degrees of fuck ups. But at the end of the day, it's just, I wonder if Tony called this on the fly. And it's just a classy move for them to say something. But again, they're just going to get shitted on. I'm already looking at it. Immediately, I refresh my fucking tab, and this is what I see, chat. It's like too little, too late. Not even a graphic, just 1 minute of stuff, and not being TK who said it. Tony Schiavone just acknowledged the passing of Hulk Hogan. Thank you, AEW. Heel Lucy thanking them. But yeah, it's just, see, you're going to get people going, no, man, it's not good enough now. You didn't do it right. And it's like, what the fuck, man? There's no pleasing everybody. Tony Schiavone, I think, did a good job there. You know, he was classy about it. He knew the man. I don't think anybody else should have done that but him. So what are we going to get into next, chat? Let's head on over here and let's play a banjo for TNA news. So Mara Sade, Jakara Jackson showed up on tonight's live episode of TNA Impact. Thank fucking God, man. Thank God that they scooped her up. She's going to be a fucking star. Now, I've heard rumblings. This is all. I'm not a dirt sheet. This is South Park, guys. This is
Allegedly.
all fucking, right. But she just, again, like, had a bit of heat, like, didn't take the aspects that WWE was looking her to take as serious as other aspects. And that might be why they decided, well, we can cut her. And that's why it came as such a shock. You know, like, what the fuck? Why would they cut her? You know, her and Lash were so over, and Lash is still over, but a lot of people were like, fuck, man, they worked so well. And, you know, with Cora Jade, some of these people, we conspiracy theorized it here at PWT. We were like, hey, man, some of these people, there might be just little things we don't see on TV that just backstage, they're like, we don't need it, you know? And I'm not saying Mara's shitty or anything. I don't know anything. I'm just completely talking out of my ass, but whatever. That's like rumors that are floating around in the leaker sources sphere, man. The biggest sickos of all, right? And so she signs with Carlos Silva there. An awesome acquisition. I think the best one they could have made. And I think we'll see Mara Sade, Jakara Jackson back in WWE one day. JC Jane cut a promo going off on Tessa Blanchard, the Elegance, but she just roasts all of TNA as their Knockouts world champion.
I mean, you have a woman who calls herself the undeniable diamond, but she gets suspended every other month. You have the Elegance brand, who is anything but elegant. You have Rosemary and Victoria Crawford, who both need to be locked away in an insane asylum. Zaya Brookside, who looks like she's more ready for a music festival than she is to compete inside that squared circle. Xia Li. Oh, good Lord, Xia Li.
Xia Li, not even calling her like Li Ying Li or whatever.
Pro tip for you, honey. Please just stick to MMA. And then my favorite, can't forget my favorite, a woman who calls herself the Knockout, but has done nothing of relevancy, especially when I'm the one holding the gold.
So not really like an in kayfabe pipe bomb, which is cool. So Lena Cross is in TNA, and she's there with Vix Crow, Victoria Crawford. So here's Hulk Hogan's entrance for his last ever match, which occurred at a 2012 TNA house show in Manchester, England. Let's check this out. At the TNA house shows, did they just steal music? Like, would they just play whatever fucking music? Did they care? Oh, that answers my question right there. I was literally thinking, like, would they just play Real American and not give a fuck? Or would they just play the Jimi Hendrix, I'm a voodoo child, Lord knows I'm a voodoo child, yeah. They go with the Eye of the Tiger. He didn't wrestle in this match, right? Like, what do they mean? His last TNA entrance ever? Or, yeah, it seems like it was a match. Tessa Blanchard defends Hulk Hogan over racialist remarks after his passing. So she caught a lot of heat for this, much like Chelsea Green, but for a different reason. Tessa said, so I wasn't sure I was going to make this video. Honestly, I kind of went back and forth about it because I know how the internet works. I know how fast people are to jump in with their opinions, to twist stories, to follow trends, and act like they know everything about everyone. And then as I was thinking, I was like, screw that. That was even a thought in my head during this time. But you know what? Life's too short. It's too short to stay quiet just to protect yourself from that kind of noise. It's true. To live in that kind of fear. So this video, it's not about going viral. It's not about getting the likes or the retweets. It's really just about respect. RESPECT. Find out what it means to me. RESPECT. Suck it to me, suck it to me, suck it to me, suck it to me. She says, in Hulk Hogan, he wasn't just a wrestler. He was wrestling for an entire generation. He brought so many eyes to this business. He made it bigger. He made it brighter. He made it louder. He filled arenas. He got people hooked. He made wrestling feel important to the world outside of professional wrestling. So whether you grew up watching him or not, whether you love him or hate him or fall somewhere in between, if you're a part of this business, you felt his impact. You feel it when the crowd pops. You feel it when you hit the curtain. You feel it in the way this industry even exists the way it does today. She says, now I'm not going to sit here and act like he was perfect. That was Kurt Hennig. None of us are, but people love to jump on that, to pick people apart and have their worst day define them for the rest of their lives. That's just it, man. It's a great way to summate it there. And sometimes it's like they forgot the human underneath of it. People are complicated. That includes me. That includes him. Not one of us gets to decide who's good or bad, like everything we hear is automatically fact. That's not how real life works. And if you've ever been misunderstood or judged by people who never really knew you, then you get it. Some people only want to talk about the worst version of someone, and I'm really not interested in that. I'm here to talk about the parts that mattered, the parts that changed lives, the parts that made this business what it is today. You don't have to agree with someone's life or what they've done to appreciate the mark they've left behind, and you can honor a legacy even if the story isn't perfect, because none of our stories are perfect unless your name was Kurt Hennig. I added that last part. So she says, so to the people turning his death into a trending debate, y'all can miss me with that right now. It's about respect. It's about giving his family space to grieve. It's about remembering that at the end of the day, Hulk Hogan gave his life to this business, and he undeniably changed it forever. So rest easy, Hulk. Thank you for everything that you've given us. So there you go, man. An impassionate statement there. Slammiversary, they announced TNA Slammiversary Fade to Black, the end. It's just the beginning. A bunch of fucking sickos are like, oh, they're selling to WWE. Well, no, what it is a first of its kind cinematic experience that fuses the rawness of live sports with the emotion and spectacle of professional wrestling. It premieres Monday at 7 p.m. exclusive on TNA Plus. Subscribe here. Let's just take a look at this trailer. And don't snipe me, Anthem. Fuck. Scroll down. I'll make it little.
There's a moment right after the final bell rings.
I think there's like a documentary aspect to this or something.
When the noise dies and the silence sets in. No entrance music. No time to waste, no cheap excuses. Just the truth. The ground's shaking, the skies are moving. Your heartbeat. Your regrets. And the weight of what.
Oh, they're pulling back the curtain. TNA Unreal.
You gave.
So funny how the show's literally called TNA Unreal, and then Meltzer's melting down. Like, they literally tell you it's not real, dude.
And what you lost.
In the name of the show. No.
On July 20th, at UBS Arena in New York, a statement was made. And when a statement's made in this city, the world listens. Slammiversary wasn't just the biggest night in TNA wrestling history. It was a collective mission to earn back everything this brand has fought for. A night where men and
So yeah, they're going to try and make Bound for Glory like one up this one. So hopefully they do that. It'd be awesome if they did like a 10K seater or something, or like 10K butts in seats in a 20K building again, or whatever they're doing.
Women came together to deliver an event for the ages. A show that didn't just honor the past.
So yeah, it's just putting over Slammiversary. I'm not quite sure what the Fade to Black aspect is though. So is it just like a behind the scenes show every week or something? I'm not quite entirely sure what that is, but that, ladies and gentlemen, was TNA news. Okay, so what an amazing show we've had this evening, guys. Make sure if you're on X, come on over to youtube.com/@ProWrestleClips. I upload tons every day and stream a bunch. So yeah, come subscribe or whatever the fuck. Vote in the polls. Oh, over on the Pro Wrestle Times channel, though, I put in the poll over there, what was the best Hulk Hogan gimmick? Was it Hulk Hogan, Hollywood Hogan, Ichiban Hogan, or Mr. America? What was his best gimmick? I know there's others, like wasn't he the Super Destroyer and all that shit? I know we could get into all those, but yeah, I just wanted to put just the ones that stood out to me, you know? So, chat, what are you guys saying? What's chat saying? Let's check in with chat. Let's check in with chat. And we will go over here. Surprise Pro Wrestling. Noah hasn't mentioned Hulk Hogan, and Great Muta was close friends with him. As far as I'm aware, Mr. America is still alive. Holly Weird, Thunder Lips. It was a thing when I was in high school. Speaking of Hogan movies, there was that one scene of him riding his motorcycle and some random dude threw his dog into the water. I think there was like an explanation for that, though. I think we found out what was happening. Like he was just teaching his dog how to swim. Like we found that out. Some fucking YouTube channel or something dug it up. Always felt bad for him a few years later. Isn't Fade to Black one of Frankie Kazarian's finishing moves? Sure. Let's scroll up a bit. I thought laser discs were the future. It's because beta, well, better video quality. Okay. TNA is better than AEW. Yeah, a lot of people agree with that. Lucha Bros run on TNA was awesome. I fucking agree, dude. It was so good. Okay. I love Santa with Muscles, Mr. Nanny. Those were my favorite movies of all time.
Oh, come on now, Eric.
We're gonna convolute that list, bro. Ladies and gentlemen, do we do it? Do we do it right now? We should do it right now. Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Jericho.
I look and see it's not just me. So many others have stood where I stand. We are the young, so raise your hand. They call us problem child. We spent our lives on trial. We walk an endless mile. We are the youth gone wild. We stand and we won't fall. We're one and one for all. The writing's on the wall. We are the youth gone wild. Let me get wild. Yay!
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Listen, I apologize. Jericho, he had a lot to say about Hulkster there. And, you know, it's in memoriam of the Hulkster, dude. I had to play it again. I need to get some water, okay? The first time I played it, I just sat here and laughed. This time I was like, oh shit, I need some ice and some water. So, okay. I'm so sorry. No, I wasn't even pissing before. I just needed water. But I did have a Trenti Starbucks. Is that a thing? My wife's like, I accidentally got you a Trente. I'm like, all right, what the fuck? I don't what is that? And I chugged it all down. So, anyways, sorry, chat. I'm so sorry I did that to you. Flutes in the chat, please. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We need flutes in the chat. Let me give you guys a drum roll while we see flutes accumulate in chat, ladies and gentlemen. I better see flutes coming in the parade. The Saints are marching in. And we're about to have a blast here. Okay. Where's the flutes? I love to see them all. It powers me up. It gives me the power. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for everybody's favorite segment, and it is called Dave Meltzer's Dumb Moment of the Week. So just as a reminder, as we remind ourselves every time we do one of these segments.
This just in, we have confirmed that Dave Meltzer fears PWT and flutes.
That's from AI News. They wouldn't lie. Here's Meltzer, of course, being taken over by AI. But here's what Dave and Brian,
very, very sorry for the people who
had to say about Hulk Hogan's legacy after, Dave just spent the week before shitting on Bischoff and Hulk Hogan the entire time over their fucking amateur wrestling.
The best guys,
fed.
Tony Khan.
And here's what he had to say about the passing of Hulk Hogan.
very, very sorry for the people who knew him. And, he changed our lives. I heard from people this morning who are absolutely not wrestling fans and were just like, oh my God, Hulk Hogan died.
Yeah. Strictly the professional wrestling business. I think it's got to be him and Santo and Ricky Dozan as the three biggest in their culture, strictly professional wrestling.
He drew more people to professional wrestling over the course of a career than anyone. More than Santo. Ricky Dozan was in smaller arenas and not as long.
He was a catalyst for the 80s. And WCW was turning around before he joined the NWO. Like they had that Ric Flair Savage feud that was kind of turning things around. But when he joined the NWO and that thing exploded, I mean, that's really, Vince had to fight back hard, which really led to the boom and WWE taking off. So really, he was responsible for the 80s and 90s boom.
Right there. Boom. They just
very, very sorry for.
He brought the boom, no fucking Rizzler or AJ or whatever. So here's Brian Alvarez. Brian, he was on ABC talking about Hulk Hogan here, which if you saw his post about, he's like, I'll be on ABC. The responses from the troglodytes of the fan base of fucking Morlocks that Brian and Dave have cultivated just is incredible. It really is just really, truly a gross fucking fan base. I'm not going to lie.
For more on this, I want to bring in professional wrestling.
He's like, I'm going to be talking about Hulk Hogan on ABC. And they just, every comment underneath was like, fuck that guy and all this shit. It was like, whoa, man.
Wrestler and radio host Brian Alvarez to talk more about Hulk Hogan. Thank you so much for joining us, Brian. Inside and outside of the ring, what did Hulk Hogan mean to you?
Well, Hulk Hogan was pretty much without question the most famous wrestler who has ever lived. I mean, he sold more tickets than anybody. He had a match in 1988 with Andre the Giant that aired on NBC that was seen by 33 million people. And he was the catalyst for the giant boom period of the 1980s. There was a huge wrestling boom in the 80s. Lots of kids grew up watching wrestling. And there was a second boom period in the mid to late 90s. And he was the catalyst behind that one as well. So as far as like the pantheon of wrestlers who have ever lived, I mean, maybe with the exception of Dwayne Johnson, because he ended up being like the biggest movie star in Hollywood for several years. I mean, Hulk Hogan's the most famous wrestler who ever lived.
Definitely remember him. Late 80s, early 90s. He had lunch boxes. He was on T-shirts. He was everywhere. He leaves behind quite the
Everything.
legacy. Yeah. What are some of your favorite Hulk Hogan moments and memories?
Well, it's funny because when I was a kid, my sister loved Hulk Hogan, and I didn't like wrestling at all. And I hated Hulk Hogan. She had a Hulk Hogan poster. I didn't want to see it. But I had a grandmother moved up from Mexico who spoke no English, and she would just keep saying lucha, lucha. And I asked my dad, like, what does that mean? And he said she wants to watch wrestling. And so I just turned on WWF, and I didn't want to watch it, but I had to sit with her and watch it. And Hulk Hogan was all over it. And it wasn't long before I was gung-ho, like solid into wrestling. And I pretty much loved it my entire life. It's been my career. And I mean, I wouldn't be here right now. And I'm sure a lot of people watching this with memories of Hulk Hogan. I mean, they grew up with him. He was.
It's pretty funny that he wasn't he just detested Hogan and then he still got won over by Hogan. That's the effect pro wrestling has on people. I swear.
The part of their life.
And like, as you get older, that's why older people like it. Cause it's like, okay, it's an intelligent thing. Like we watched a retro throwback clip of a bunch of fans outside of a Mania. And this reporter's asking them like, it's a work, it's fake, right? And they're all like, so it's unique, like it's intelligent. Who the fuck posted? We saw that article too, where it said that WWE fans are the most intelligent fans of all sports fans or whatever. I don't know how legit that was, but how fucking funny is that?
So many years, and so many people, their first memory of,
because you got to be smart to suspend disbelief,
wrestling was something involving Hulk Hogan, whether it's the Andre match at WrestleMania 3 or Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior at WrestleMania 6 or the NWO in the late 90s. I mean, if you're over the age of probably 25, 30 and you're a wrestling fan, I mean, Hulk Hogan was a centerpiece of that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And Hulk Hogan was viewed as this guy with such a big ego, right? Taking creative liberties with storylines throughout his career. How is he perceived specifically within the wrestling world? And you're in the wrestling world, so how do you see him?
I mean, it's been different throughout the years because obviously in the 80s, he was such a huge star that if you advertised him for a show, you were going to draw another 4,000
Alvarez in the wrestling biz
just because Hogan was on the card. And so the wrestlers were paid based on how many people showed up. And so like all the wrestlers were like, they were fine with Hogan because Hogan was making everybody a lot of money.
Especially me, Brian.
And then in the 90s,
and Dave, we're going to show his ego flexing. He's got just the worst ego. And he's like, nobody was covering wrestling. Like he, in his mind, blew up wrestling. It wasn't the wrestlers. It was him talking about it in his newsletter. I swear that's what he thinks.
You had these guaranteed contracts, and so it was a little bit different. You weren't getting paid so much if Hogan was there. And there started to get some bitterness towards Hogan because he just kept trying to stay on top. And, it was time for him to step aside and let new people come up, and it didn't happen. And then obviously in more recent years, he had a lot of personal issues. And there was a very famous tape that got leaked where he made some racial slurs. And, there were a lot of wrestlers because he kind of had a meeting with everybody where he was supposed to apologize. But his apology was kind of like saying, you guys got to be careful with what you say because you never know whether there are going to be cameras or recording.
This is just like dirt sheet Mark shit. This isn't what she asked, bro. Jesus Christ. He's giving like a dirt sheet Mark recounting of this fucking story that the Observer put out that who even knows if it's real or not. And like, this isn't what she asked. You just say he made racial slurs and so a lot of the wrestlers, like some of them chose not to forgive him, which is their prerogative. And the majority of them, there was an outpouring of support for him, which is their prerogative as well. So it just depends in what era, but overall, he's the greatest of all time. I think that sentiment can be accepted across the board. Boom. I just answered. You're giving her some dirt sheet fucking, there was a meeting and we have sources, Brian. I mean, Dave.
And a lot of wrestlers kind of saw that as not an apology, but more like, you don't want to get caught.
Why are you saying this? You don't want to get caught. Why are you saying this after you just passed? Wild, dude. had to go this. I was like, damn, I wasn't piping in a lot. You guys noticed, because I'm not going to roast Brian when he's just talking about Hulkster after the man passed. I'm not a morbid fucking monster. Okay. Now he's doing this where it's like, oh, you just had to go sicko mode on fucking ABC News Live.
And so in recent years, you know, there were a lot of wrestlers who weren't the biggest fans of Hulk Hogan. He obviously still had a lot of friends in the business, and I'm sure we'll be hearing from all of those people. But, you know, he definitely had his demons. You know, he had his on-screen persona, which changed the business and was, you know, largely a positive for wrestling, although at other times a negative. And he
at what times? Oh, well, they should have kept the belt on Bret Hart instead of Hogan against Yoko or whatever the fuck. Like, what are you talking about, man? Like, what did he ever do? That doesn't work for me, brother. Yeah, the finger poke of doom and all that shit was fucked up. But at the end of the day, man, like, they had WWE on their back fucking foot at one point. And he tried to keep himself on top, but it never like hurt the business, him being around it or anything. It's just, that's just the Markish sicko shit to say. I mean, yes, if you're like knees deep into it, that him be with the old, that doesn't work for me, brother. Like, yeah, that shit you sort of detest as a fan, what could have been. But I mean, there's a reason the NWO came back to WWE as well. There was money in that. There's a reason he turned red and yellow again, because there was money in that. Like, it never hurt wrestling for him to do any of the shit he did. I don't think. Like, maybe the whole thing with Jeff Jarrett, yeah, but also like how much of that is on fucking Jarrett and Russo and yes, Jarrett just laid down and took the pin. But at the same time, that was fucked of him. You could just give Jarrett as much criticism, like he should have wrestled a fucking match like a professional and then did the job like the normal way, you know? Because you look like a putz either fucking way. So why not at least like get yourself over against Hogan in that match and maybe garner some new fans before you just lay down? Like, that's shitty on his part too, just being honest. So, oh, come on, that's not very fair. I'd do a show with him, Phil Marks. I'm the mortgage guy.
had, you know, Terry Bollea, who,
oh, that's not very fair.
There were people that didn't necessarily like Terry Bollea personally because of some of the things that he had said during his life.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. Certainly had a number of different personas. But Brian, we do appreciate your time and sharing your.
See, she's like, yeah, he did have a bunch of different personas. She's like, he just spent his time talking about that bullshit. She's like, I want to talk about Hollywood Hogan and shit, Doug. So whatever. Brian was trying. So Dave Meltzer, he's just been studying the OF business. And he says, multiple women are planning to quit pro wrestling due to the amount of money they can make on OnlyFans. Or OF, sorry, fucking YouTube. Here's the thing. He is looking at one example, and now he's saying a bunch of women are looking to quit. Like, he's just adding this extra. He does this all the time. He says things like, I watch wrestling with people who don't really like wrestling, and they love the lucha stuff the most. Casuals love lucha and shit like that. He just extrapolates like shit that isn't there. But one person in pro wrestling. So he goes, yeah, multiple women are planning to quit. One person in pro wrestling noted. So where do you extrapolate multiple? A path that will become more common in female wrestlers will build a fan base within pro wrestling and launch an OF. I think Dave's like fantasy mark booking here and just inventing, like no one talked to him. And if they all do it, it saturates the market as well. So Dave, it's every girl builds a bit of a platform and then does an OF ultimately. Like all of these fucking chicks do it these days. So, and people aren't really getting booked on the indies. And the reason Dave is going to try and focus on this is because he doesn't want to admit that Tony Khan has inflated the fucking indie rates. And I've seen with my two eyes, man, I've seen fucking DMs that wrestlers have got from indie promoters fucking chapped about TK. All right. So I ain't about to sit here and even play that fucking game, dude. So he'll probably put the focus. Well, I mean, it's not like he's wrong, but this is just in every avenue. Dave just says shit like he's the first to discover, people are going to use wrestling to then go into OF. Okay, Dave, wait for 6 months or a year. Okay. And then she'll know her real figures. And then you can figure out if you'd rather just do that than wrestle, you know? But for now, relax. Stop giving. I know you want all these girls. I know you like talking shit about them, Dave, and shitting on women's wrestling, but you want them to all go have OFs. You're subscribed to all of them. I have to. It's for journalism purposes, Brian. Right? But shut up. Cora Jade reportedly told people within pro wrestling that she made more money on OF than any female wrestler made in the last month. Yeah, no shit. So did Mandy Rose. Who gives a fuck? They all didn't jump at it then. You're just like trying to encourage people to do some shit, Dave. I'm sussing you out, dog. So the Observer says WWE and Travis Scott have had a full falling out. This is why it is open season for WWE talents to knock the rapper. Who is knocking him? Who's knocked him? Other than heels who knock everyone anyways, or people who just say what they want in their promos anyways. I don't know if there's a full falling out, but Travis Scott's one of these guys that like won't show up to court dates and shit. So I highly doubt, like, he'll be on parole, then he's like spotted on a private plane in another fucking country with a Kardashian or whatever. So he doesn't give a shit, and he just wants to come out whenever he's willing to show up and do whatever he wants. So you either got to work with it that way or just not have him involved. So Dave had this to say. Well, the Observer newsletter said Scott was also originally planned to be the celebrity guest character in 2K25's first DLC pack. Yes, which it's funny that, again, we talked about this on PWT like a month ago, and Dave is just catching on now, but was eventually replaced by El Grande Americano. Travis Scott was scheduled to be, the celebrity surprise that was to be revealed this month in the DLC, downloadable content. Yeah, Dave, you don't have to say he was to be part of the DLC downloadable content. Just say the DLC or the downloadable content. What you're saying is downloadable content. So Scott and WWE had a full falling out, the nature of which hasn't gotten out yet, but it's why it's open season to knock him. The decision was made for El Grande to take his spot. Plus, Aleister Black has been the person to replace Scott as far as the WrestleMania pack, even though Black was not at WrestleMania. So they just added Black last minute to the game. Dave, it's not always about like who was there and shit, but that is a point. But they just stuffed that in because they fucked up with the celebrity replacement. That's all it is. And they have Aleister Black's taunts and moves, and his scan is still, they have it. And they have kept his moves and shit in the game. So it was easy for them to just quickly add him to the game, Dave. Okay. And yes, Americano is replacing him because they announced a DLC. And I don't know, we covered that all here on the show like way back. But I don't think Scott, or like, how does that make sense? As far as the WrestleMania pack, yeah, they just hooked people up with Black because they were like, we fucked up. Because we have released like 3 DLC packs and we still didn't give you the full first pack or the full 41 pack or whatever the fuck. Okay? So it is what it is. Maybe Dave's onto something, but I don't know. Maybe there is. It seems like there is like a full falling out, but he's like, it's open season. Who's been taking shots at him? So John Sacco said Babe Ruth helped save baseball and elevated it to a new level. Hogan did the same thing. Comparing him to Babe is the perfect comparison. And then Meltzer says, Hogan didn't save wrestling. Of course, Dave, you did with your fucking newsletter, huh? I quote tweeted this. I said, of course he didn't. Tony Khan did in 2019 with the inception of AEW. Like, come on, man. Someone find me the quote of Dave saying, oh, I mean, Tony pretty much saved wrestling. I promise it's out there.
The best guy is Tony Khan.
I'm willing to bet money it's out there in the ethos somewhere where he's attributed Tony Khan with that. So Meltzer said what says, listen to this shit. We're here. Let's watch some funniness, and then we'll get to Dave here. He's got a big one, a big whammy we want to save for the end.
You're a big boy, aren't you, sir? Yeah, I'm a big boy. That's a big boy, sir. I'm a big boy. I took a big boy poop.
Oh my god. The IWC is fucking cooked, dude. So study history and get back to me. So again, Meltzer always hitting people with the learn, baby, learn, Meltzer Inferno.
Learn, baby, learn. Meltzer Inferno.
So Jake Sneed says, no, he didn't save it. He paved the way for what it is now. Without Hulk Hogan, there would be no mainstream wrestling. And Dave says, please leave the history for those who actually studied it. Now, Dave is saying this diminishing Hulk. Meanwhile, listen to the praise and the fucking nut gargling he does of himself. And I swear Dave believes that he saved pro wrestling. I put out a tweet saying, Dave Meltzer, without Hulk Hogan, Dave Meltzer's the crazy guy outside of fucking Circle K you give some change to and you buy a coffee for and throw some change at on your way outside the fucking Circle K, right? That's what Dave Meltzer would be if it wasn't for this. He's about to blow himself. This is a guy who calls Cuervo. I almost called him Cuervo too because like that's his name now because it's so funny, right? This is the guy who calls Mahomes Patrick Mahomes. Like insane shit, and he thinks he'd be the top of his field anywhere. I'd love for a group of like NFL reporters and business analysts and shit like that to read this paragraph and this diatribe from Dave and just scoff and laugh at it because that's what would happen. And he blocks out anybody who would say otherwise. Now, I put out that tweet saying, I swear Dave is like the guy you'd throw change at if it wasn't for Hulk Hogan. He doesn't know shit, et cetera, right? So this guy puts out a tweet saying you would be flipping burgers if not for him. So a very simple version of what I said, right? But Dave goes on this long fucking, like, why would he respond to this if it doesn't ring true to Dave? Do you guys get what I'm saying? He's awfully defensive about this guy, or about this notion in particular, to the point where he's got to write this long thing. And my theory is that I'm putting out there, PWT Universe, okay? My theory is he's actually responding to your boy Phil through other people. And if that's not true, we're going to will it into existence. Flutes in the chat. Flute gang. And so he says, this guy Trigger Point says you would be flipping burgers if not for him. And Dave Meltzer says, actually, after, except, like it's, after the work I did in the last 24 hours, I can so confidently know I'd be doing the exact same thing in another sport or the political world and been every bit as successful.
The best guys, Tony Khan.
Oh my God.
Poor people don't like AEW.
Where? What would he be doing, dude? Even the hacks at fucking Fox and CNN would laugh him. Like, who is he more charming than, smarter than any of these folks? Holy shit, this mushmouth son of a bitch thinks what, he'd be taking Anderson Cooper's job, or I'd be boots on the ground. Dave doesn't even understand. Like, he gets his reports on shows from people at the shows just DMing him shit. You're a fucking clown, dude. Imagine if he pulled the, hey, here, we're in a Fightful Discord. Here's a fake WBD spreadsheet. He brings it to his thing. I have an internal memo from WBD with AEW's TV deal. And it's a fake spreadsheet from like a Fightful Discord or some shit. Or like Wrestle Purist Discord. Imagine if he did the equivalent of that in the mainstream, covering political news and shit. He'd be fucking ostracized, memed, and shamed at an even higher level than he already is. This is why Dave's a lol cow. This is why it's never not funny to make fun of him. Because he actually thinks like, what, he'd go to boxing? He'd go to MMA and I am proficient in MMA already. No, you're not. No, you fucking not. Okay? You can get the ticket sale numbers, dude. They say them after every event. They say them out loud. Everybody gets those. Like, come on, you wouldn't even, what would he do? Basketball? Like, come on, dude. even Stephen A. Smith and these guys are better than the fucking bullshit you come up with. No one would listen to you, seriously. If the outside sports world tried to listen to you, actually, 93,000, they'd be like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? So listen to Meltzer glaze himself. Glaze Meltzer, dude. He goes, I was blessed with certain gifts, and wrestling has nothing to do with any of them. Dave, you're legitimately, this is a literal factual statement. You are a terrible writer. You're a terrible fucking writer. We've compared Jim Cornette's writing and your own fucking newsletter compared to yours. You're a terrible writer. That's just a fact. Everyone agrees on that, okay? You are a terrible orator, okay? You're not funny. You're not witty. And you mostly, your biggest skill would be I can provide historical knowledge and give you like the history on things, but instead you choose to like go another route, pretend to break news, and you're like pushing for your own words. You push for certain wrestlers to Tony Khan. You're pushing, the Mole said recently, somebody, no, the Mole said this. I don't know if we covered it on the show, but the Mole tweeted out, hey, somebody knows more. And the Mole could be wrong as well. I'm not saying he's a legit or whatever, but a lot of people say, no, he's accurate about a lot of stuff. So the Mole put out there, hey, someone in book like knows more about booking than the writers. Like someone is reporting shit in the IWC, stuff that like I don't even know yet. So that means he has to be talking creative with the boss man. And people asked him, flutes? And fucking he responded with a flute emoji, right? How funny is it too? This is how funny PWT and Phil Marks is, dude. I made Meltzer synonymous with a fucking emoji. He's been doing this for 50 years. I made him synonymous with an emoji on your phone. So, he confirmed that. So it's like, okay, we know Dave is like texting and blah, blah, blah. But if he knows like some of Tony's ideas even before some of the writers and shit in the room, let's say Mole is legit someone then that's crazy. That's madness. Now, a lot of us have already assumed that anyways, and that's why he's so invested in AEW. Like Tony Khan sank billions into Dave Meltzer's idea of what wrestling is. That's why he's so invested. He doesn't have to own 3% or 30%. He's just shilling for it because think about how hard some people would mark out if like some of these podcasters out there, even me, if like our company came to you and just would do all of your bidding for you. And then all you have to do is just glaze them. Like so many would jump at the opportunity. And if Dave has a hand in like, I think this would be an idea that's really good. And then Tony like listens to that seriously over like real people in the business, then that's fucking crazy. And that just confirms everything we thought. So anyways, though, Dave, you call people their wrong names all the time. Patrick Mahone, as you get laughed out of the building. The gifts you're blessed with, you're not good at the things you do. You write about wrestling and you're not a good writer. You talk about wrestling and you're a mushmouth magoo. So I really don't know what you think you're so good at. I was blessed with certain gifts. I've had this too from dirt sheet writers. I'm the best in the world at doing this, at what I do. It's just these sheet writers have the most out of whack egos of any group of people I've come across. Truthfully, man. But anyways, Dave goes on to say, this wrestling journalism thing didn't exist in the manner I do it before me. Put some respect on my name. Bird gang in this bitch. Brian, put some respect on it. It's so funny. He's like, I started this gangster shit, and this the motherfucking thanks I get, Brian? Right? He's like, this shit didn't exist in the manner I do it before me. Here's the thing, though, Dave. In what way? You're right. The newsletter, recounting the matches, rating them, etc., etc., etc. This new wave didn't exist before me. No, it definitely did. But I just take the ball and run with it. You know what I'm saying? But it's like maybe not in this form that I do it, but I think we're part of this new wave, right? But Dave is, I think, behind the fucking times. But he is right. He did grandfather a lot of these people, for sure, 100%. So he's not wrong about that. But I think he thinks that he had more to do with wrestling getting popular than Hulk Hogan even. Or maybe I'm just adding that because I don't like Dave. But either way, I digress. He says, and if you actually read the issue I put together as quickly as I did, you deep no realize that. Yeah, maybe if you didn't put it together so quickly, it wouldn't be so sloppy and shitty. That's the other thing. Like, oh man, this fucking newsletter, it came out and it's just thrown together slop. And it's not properly fucking proofread or anything. Just like this tweet. And like you did a double space. You don't start the sentence with and. That's like a rare thing you do. Okay, Dave. So again, you're just showing like you're not good at what you do after saying you're so good at what you do. And you said, and if you actually read the issue I put together as quickly as I did. If you actually read the issue I put together as quickly as I did, you deep no realize that. You deep no realize that, chat. Holy fuck, man. What a goddamn idiot. Yeah, so you in one tweet simultaneously showed that you're not good at what you fucking claim you're the best at. Okay? And it's hilariously ironic. You always put your foot in your mouth. And that's why we'll roast you until the ends of time. And yeah, that, ladies and gentlemen,
best guys, Tony Khan,
was Dave Meltzer's dumb moment of the week. Another flute, shall we? Indulging with the flutes today. Let me check in with chat, man. You guys have been going hard. What an amazing Dave Meltzer dumb moment of the week. I will check in with chat here. Yeah, what a fucking idiot. That's super funny, man. Doesn't even proofread his fucking tweets, let alone his newsletter. Okay, let's see what chat's doing over here. I'm trying to get something queued up. Fire it up. At the ends of time, we're gonna burn it down. Okay, chat. Let me check in with you guys. And Robo Dave. Rick. Okay, sorry. Okay, Chief Wahoo for 3 says, "Are you trying to audition for The View, Brian? They need a new Whoopi Goldberg got canceled again, Brian." The View. That'd be hilarious. George Capture for 5 says, "Dave actually said that if he wasn't doing wrestling, that he would have been a top NFL sideline reporter." I know. And then he goes, Mahones. Patrick Mahones. And then he says shit like this. Where's the Cuervo? Like, listen to this. "I'd be a top hip-hop executive."
Well, he does his entire entrance, and then he gets on the announce table.
He had a Cuervo with him the whole time, too.
I will never get enough of that clip. He interrupts him. He had Cuervo with him. Holy shit. 626 for 2 says, "Was Dave implying his gifts were, hey yo, trigger 0.8? 6 is wildin' tonight, bro. Richard Adams for 5 says, "Dick says, I agree with you, Phil, on what you're saying about Meltzer. Yeah, you're goddamn right you do. You're goddamn right.
Brian."
You do. Let me check in. What's chat saying? That needs to be a drop. Oh, I know, dude. Cuervo. We need that. He brought Cuervo with him. Oh, man. Why Dave say that at the end? Never gets old. Cuervo. Must have been a curve. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have gone almost 4 hours today. Round of applause for the PWT universe. Listen, we're going to do sickos and wackos. We're going to do that on Monday's show. We'll open with that segment likely. Unless we get bombarded with more news. You know what I mean? Because there's still Hulk Hogan fallouts and shit, I think, too, unfortunately. And other things we'll see, like the fallout from AEW. I'm sure there's stuff I want to get in those bookmarks that I haven't seen. So we will, even though it is Sicko Saturday, but we'll spread it out. I'll also get you guys a SummerSlam preview show. I'm also going to go live both nights, okay? SummerSlam night 1 and 2. I'll be live both nights. So make sure you guys stay locked in. Consider becoming a member. Rest in peace, brother. You all rest tonight, brothers and sisters. I appreciate you all so much for being here. We had another massive turnout. There was like 400 watching across X and YouTube, and I don't really want to. It just wasn't like a pluggy night tonight, right, guys? I didn't really want to do all that, and I hope we had an entertaining show, even though there were some sad moments there. And I just appreciate you all for hanging out with me. And yeah, I'll see you guys Wednesday, but if you're members, I'll see you guys Monday, okay? And yes, I'm trying to get your boy Hughesith back on the show, and it will. I was going to send him the link today, but I was like, man, I have so much Hulk stuff to go through. And like I started later. I was going to do the show earlier today, and I just decided to fucking bail last second kind of thing. So it is what it is. It's on me. Go and check out my Superman review, please. And Fantastic Four one, and my Squid Game series review is dropping soon. And yeah, I apologize. That one's been taking so long. Just lots of editing. I have like 4 episodes to fucking edit. So I appreciate you all. Round of applause. R.I.P. Hulkster, man. And Hulkster, we won't see you in the Upside Down, brother. We will see you on the greatest stage there is, those heavenly gates, brother. And I leave you with Hitachi Flow, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for being here. Take care of each other. Peace.
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday comes again. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday comes again.
綺麗な空気。体には細長が気持ちいいんです。日立のビッグフロー、ウェルネス。日立フレア。
We don't want to make false accusations here on the program, Brian. We do not want to accuse people of behavior, either unsavory behavior, possibly criminal behavior, certainly behavior that shouldn't be imitated. We don't want to do that if they're not guilty of it.
If you want outlaw but shows, you know just where to go. Tony Khan.
And a game 6 is far more likely than a game 7. And actually, there was only a 28.1%
Well,
chance.
it's kind of shot out, got diarrhea of the mouth. Tony Khan.
So, but the series was going on, 28.1% chance. So about
He just lies and he cries, might be high on cocaine.
People on Twitter are calling Tony Khan either Tony Yayo, the cocaine cowboy, or Herb Abrams Jr.
I don't think it was coke, but let's go back to this.
If you love New Japan, there's no bigger fan than Tony Khan.
Whoa. That person is Adam Cole, baby.
MJF got smart, called him a
fucking mark.
Tony Khan.
I'm not going to cover that one right now. Thanks, Nick. Do you have another question you want to ask?
He ain't right, might be high on the cocaine.
Every All Out's been higher the year before. Every Full Gear's been higher than the year before. Every Revolution.
Lots of things are higher than they were.
Well, he likes that full baths. He wants it only left. Tony Khan.
Do you guys have Chris?
If you just don't know what the hell's going on with Jericho, Tony Khan.
You're a wizard, Jerry.
He ain't right, he can't ride unless he's high.